Welcome back to Whose Views. We'd like to take this opportunity to apologise to our viewers in London and the southeast of England. It must be awful for you. And now, here's JT and the Whotastic panel.
Sony president advises the BBC to join forces with Channel 4. Here we are then, everybody. Welcome back to Whose Views. How are you doing? It's your big show. It's Sunday and it's the 10th of May, 2026. It is indeed headlines. Hope you are all well. It's great to see you. As ever, I'm with Third Doctor Ian and Paul. You two are looking fine and dandy today. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm in an undisclosed location in Dundee in a safe house. I'm not my normal house, so in case one day why the background's different, because I'm in a different place. At least I'm an episode of Batman that all the scenery's moved around, but apart from that, I'm fine.
So can we work out that from an undisclosed location in Dundee, you're in Dundee?
Yes. I can't tell you the full address, Ian, that's top secret.
I'm also in an undisclosed location, not in Dundee. There we are.
Well, no.
That's good to know.
And we actually have some Hugh viewers in Dundee as well. So if you're in the chat, come and say hello to us. Good to see you all, everybody. We do have a lot to get through with you this evening and a lot of discussion for you tonight here on the big show. Because yes, have you heard? Well, BBC Studios circuit breaker. They've been at it again with that this week. And have they insisted on continuing to break Doctor Who? We're going to be discussing that with you all in the chat coming up. RTD is ready with Channel 4 for Tiptoe. And should the BBC and Channel 4 merge? That's an interesting topic. We're going to be asking you a bit about that a little bit later on, because the boss of Sony seems to think, yes, they should. So there you go. That's all coming up for you. And we need to start, though, with a big thank you to everybody that's been getting in touch this week. And we've had an awful lot of emails this week and some brand new subscribers following our show on Wednesday, where we got to chat with executive producer and showrunner of the television movie 1996, Mr. Philip Siegel. He was here live on the show. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and asking your questions. It was a great show. Really enjoyed it, and wasn't he fabulous, everybody?
Yeah, I absolutely lovely guy. Lovely.
Yeah, it was a great show, great experience.
It really was, and it was fantastic. He was so down to earth as well, because sometimes these Hollywood people can be a little bit glitzy.
He was very grounded, wasn't he? Very grounded, very honest as well. Very honest. I don't think we had any questions where he said, "Sorry, I'm not going to go there." I mean, he touched on stuff, even stuff that was quite potentially awkward. Yeah, he ventured there. It was great privilege.
It was, wasn't it? It was absolutely fantastic. So it was just a joy. So Philip, if you're tuning in, thank you so much for coming to see us. And what a great way to start off our 8 at 30 season, where this month, of course, May, we are celebrating 30 years of the 8th Doctor. Lots of that coming up. It's all on the show page for you now. But I'd just like to say, firstly, a big happy birthday to Sarah. Nice one, Sarah. Hope you're having a lovely couple of days there. And to my friend Jane, happy birthday. And do you remember on one of our shows we had a video? It was the Daleks Master Plan review. We had a video from Lex Kane's nephew, Luke.
Oh, yes, lovely, yeah.
Young Luke. Well, young Luke hasn't been very well recently.
Oh.
Not very well, but apparently, according to Lex, he's on the mend. So I'd like to give a big shout out to Luke, and good lad, and brave heart.
Yeah, get well soon, Luke, from us. Yeah,
get well soon, Luke. Yeah,
get well soon. I'd also say I'd like to say hello and thank you to Pete Ferrieri, to Bill Oddie's love child, to Judge Joseph Dredd, to Stephen L. Rees, to Matthew Akian, to Adam Luff, to Richard Downs, to Eddie J. Riley, to Michael Webster, to Stephen Jeannie Frith, to the Legion of James, to Lawrence Steele, Farsight, to Hartnell's Ghost, to Crimpling Doubloon, to Synth John, to Miles D, Edward Bracknell, Patrick Hartnell, 1963, Alan Hunting, Gavin B, and L. Dano. Thank you all so much for your comments and getting in touch this week. Really, really appreciate it. It was very busy this week for us. No wonder I was all over the shop. I tell you. Lots of you in the chat with us now. And we've got one here from Mad Mackham Tech. At Third Doctrine, after my little Leeds joke in my Who's Views chit chat, just wanted to say congratulations on Leeds staying in the Prem alongside SAFC, whatever that is.
Yeah, can you translate any of that for us, please, Ian? That'd be good if you could.
West Ham lost today, and they're on 36 points in the third and final relegation zone. There's only 2 games to go for them. And if they won both, they'd get 6 points, which would put them on 42. Leeds are on 43. So we will, by default, with 3 games to play, Spurs tomorrow night. So regardless of what happens now, we could lose all 3 and we will not be getting relegated because West Ham can't get any more points than us. And it really is quite rightly deserved. Although, to be quite honest, it would be very funny to see Spurs go down, who we play obviously on Monday. So I'll shut up.
That's
now,
all very interesting, and thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm so bored with whatever that was. I'd like to say thank you very much to Bill Oddie's love child. Hey team, finally got to join live. Much better than trying to do it at 5 a.m. Yes, it is. Good to see you, mate. It's good to see you. And next time you're in my neck of the woods, please give me a lot of time to know, because he sent me an email. I wasn't on my emails today for one reason or another. He sent me an email today saying he was about 50 minutes down the road. I was like, I couldn't get there because I'd had the email by the time, of course. So there you go. Sorry about that, pal. But yeah, give us more notice next time. You're absolutely outrageous. You are absolutely outrageous. Okay, so let's start actually. I know Bill Lowry's saying, when Ian is talking football, can we get subtitles in English?
Outrageous.
It's true, isn't it? I mean, I have no clue what he said there either. It's just all blah, 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 blah.
I have to say, I was feeling interested, but I'm not a football fan either. Sorry, Ian.
No, terrible. Listen, I want to say happy birthday as well to the Doctor Who Appreciation Society, who are at this moment probably, actually, they would have wound up their 50th anniversary celebrations at the Capitol, which is their yearly convention. So happy birthday to them. They have had a lovely time from what I can hear, and they gave out some awards. So I want to say to the lovely Colin Howard. Colin, congratulations, because he got the Doctor Who Appreciation Society Outstanding Contribution to Doctor Who Award.
Excellent. Okay. Well deserved. Yeah, well deserved.
Well, yeah. Colin Howard, of course, as we all know, some exquisite art over the years, especially on the videos and the Doctor Who magazine covers and all the books and stuff. So well done to him. Also, congratulations to Genesis of the Daleks, which won the Dwaz's 50th anniversary story poll. There you go. So good. Philip Hinchcliffe made a surprise appearance at the Capitol yesterday to accept it as well. Which is nice, isn't it? So
again, another well-deserved award, definitely.
Yeah, congratulations to Genesis of the Daleks. And then there was this one as well, who winner of the 2026 Terence Dix Award for Writers. It was Pete McTighe, however you want to say it. Pete was presented with the award at the Capitol yesterday by Terence's sons, John Dix and Ollie Dix. So obviously they do list a few things. He penned the Doctor Who episodes Kablam, Praxius, Lucky Day, and served as the content consultant for the Blu-rays, and of course he did the fish thing.
Yeah, and he got an award. Can you give it to someone else, like Rob Schumann or someone?
Yeah, well, they must get voted for it. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's quite appropriate.
Can they take away for the fishy thing? Surely they can. Yeah.
Terence Dix Award got awarded to a dick. There we are.
Ooh, allegedly. I was there when they launched all these award things because Bob Baker was the first one that got the contribution award. Yeah, he was over. He was so delighted because nobody knew this was coming, and he got this beautiful little, as you can see there, those crystal sort of glass things, and he was so moved by it. He was over there, and he said to me, "But I've won." And I went, oh my God, that's fab. So yeah, Stephen O'Neill is saying, ironically, I was watching Genesis of the Daleks yesterday. Graham is also saying, well deserved for Genesis. It is, isn't it? Hi, Synth John saying, wow. Yeah. Yes, who needs Rory Neal? Who needs the BAFTAs? They are on as we are on right now, and we've probably got more viewers, to be quite honest.
Does that mean Kate Van Zandt is no longer the fan favorite anymore? The number one?
No.
No?
No. It always goes between Genesis and Caves, doesn't it? It's a weird thing.
I'm just wondering, I've been watching
highlight.
season 21, and there's lots of references on Kate Van Zandt on this behind the sofa about that being fan favorite. And Colin was quite chuffed because he's in that one as well.
Yeah. Well, he claims it as his, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Keith Burton saying to us, I've bought Genesis on LP, cassette, VHS, DVD special edition, novel, ebook, audiobook, and Blu-ray. Yes, join the club.
Yeah, we
it's
all
one of
have,
those stories, isn't it, guys? Isn't it, Keith? It's one of those stories where you have to count how many copies you've got now. Soon to be joined, of course, by the next edition of the TV movie in a few weeks' time. So yes, it's
The
awful.
record was fantastic, though. I have really fond memories of listening to that many times.
Yeah, that was a fantastic piece. Yeah.
There was a lot of that. I mean, we've
Do you remember,
talked
guys,
about-
when you watched the 6-part version, it was really odd having listened to the record, which is edited, and then you watch the 6-parter, and there's extra bits in it. It's just really weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, as we said, we've got on our Sounds of Whoosic playlist. We actually did a review of the Genesis of the Daleks LP a couple of years ago because it looked at an anniversary. So we looked at that, and it's still fresh today. But it's such an iconic part of our childhood.
Yeah,
Genesis of the Daleks LP. It's so important, and it was just incredible. And it set off this whole thing about Doctor Who works on audio. Peter Wilcox, nice to see you. That award in the image is of Delgado. It's gorgeous. I need to get writing. It's nice to see you, gentlemen. It's nice to see you too, Pete, as well. Yeah, in case you missed that, I'll just show that again because in that's the award there. It is Roger Delgado's master that they give. And he got the 2020, Pete McTeague McTighe got the 2026 Terence Dix Award for Writers. Yeah, there you go. There you go, everybody. I'm not saying anything more, but I'm sure everybody at the Doctor Who Appreciation Society had a great time this weekend at the Capitol. And congratulations on the Dwarves for reaching 50 years. Not easy when the show has been off air once for 15, 16 years, and then another time now. But there you go. There you have it. Well done to them. I just want to share with you as well, actually, something I saw on Facebook over the last couple of days. This is another piece of art, everybody, that involves doing this AI thing. Now, you know me, Who viewers, I don't understand it. I just appreciate it when it comes along. I don't understand all the what do they call it? The slop stuff. I don't understand any of that. I'm not into it. I just like it, or some of it. Although this week, I have to say, I've been getting really fed up of seeing somebody for the doctor, somebody for the doctor, somebody for the doctor. I was getting so annoyed. I actually went onto all these things and started blocking them because I can't be done with all this. The best one I saw was Sooty for the doctor because he would really scare the Daleks, wouldn't he, with his it's squeaky
I
noise.
saw the Chuckle Brothers together, the Doctor and the Master. That was hilarious. Yeah,
we've had Sweepers Davros, haven't we, before?
Yeah,
that was cool. He's obviously a cosplayer, is our Sweep, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Well, anyway, I found this one, Who viewers, on a Facebook page just this week. So what we're showing here is we're showing what I think are gorgeous Daleks. They are blue, believe it or not, rather than the bronze. They've got bronze elements in them, but they're actually blue. And a version or an AI version of the Ncuti Gatwa Doctor. And the caption,
just Ncuti Gatwa, to be fair.
Yes, and the caption that the gentleman came out with when he was putting this across was, what would have happened basically if the Gatwa Doctor had met the Daleks? They would have just shot him straight away as he started crying.
They are lovely Daleks, though, aren't they? You're quite right.
Yeah, they're very, very good. So this is Phil Owens, and I want to give Phil Owens a shout out because I think that's a nice piece of art, AI. Look, there's even a Dalek on the view screen behind them there. See,
lovely. Right.
Yeah, so I just thought it was fun. However, not everybody agreed with me, and I wanted to bring this into the show because I wanted to show Phil Owens that I personally was going to support him. I did actually get onto this as well, onto the Facebook page that was putting this out, because he immediately got attacked by a Doctor Who fan, an alleged Doctor Who fan. And why was this? Well, I'll tell you. This has come from somebody called, now this is typical. And when I looked at this person, I thought, oh, here we go. Why is it that all these people are just absolutely insane? This person is called JD. And he, even though he would say he is a she, he said, I find your implicit racism offensive and it is not welcome in the Hooniverse. Now, you tell me, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, what the hell is racist about this?
That's not racist at all. I mean, why is that racist? I don't understand that whatsoever. No idea. That is just nonsense.
It is, isn't it?
Daleks shooting the Doctor. I mean, the end. I mean, I know
And he's
the
not
Daleks.
the first one.
No, I know the Daleks
Yeah.
are inherently racist. That's the entire purpose of their being, isn't it? Right from 1963, which was at that point less than 20 years from the end of the Second World War.
Well,
They were
it's not
very
just that.
much-
The Daleks are probably the most inclusive characters in Doctor Who because they'll just kill everything.
Will kill everything. Yeah, but they would shoot anything that wasn't like them. So there's no racism there. I think they're just saying because if it had been Tennant's Doctor or anybody that wasn't black,
It would
or
have been acceptable.
obviously if it was Whittaker, they'd have said sexist and misogynist, wouldn't they? But
Yeah. Well,
Well-
I didn't like this, Paul. I didn't like this at all. Mr. Owens came back to this fella anyway and said, it's not about race. It's about a favorite character losing everything that made him great. The 15th did cry way too much. Whereas JD, he, although he would say he's a she, delusional, came back and said, sure it is. Phil was trying to get back. Mr. Owens was trying to get in. Whenever you say anything derogatory about Shooty's performance, you're always going to be badged as an ist or a homophobe. Not that he really was badly miscast and is partly to blame for the show losing popularity and nearing cancellation. In fact, you're the ist by sitting in judgment on my values when you don't know me or you've just judged me on the colour of my skin. Now go away. Now, I think that's fair enough, everybody. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair enough. He wouldn't. And then started to twist it back to make himself out to be the victim. And then I came along.
Oh, goody.
So I told Phil Owens, first of all, some far left idiots will read all their poison into absolutely everything. JD is an example of a pathetic idiot who's absolutely an example of everything he thinks of others. Ignore the fool. And then I told JD himself, oh, shut up with your allegations. WTF is racist about that post. You're utterly ridiculous. Now piss off. No, he never got back to me. But I'm fed up with this stuff, guys, about alleged fans taking it on themselves to judge others. I cannot stand that element of fandom. Do you know? I just can't be done with it. And I've had it so much up to here, Who viewers, over the last God knows how many years. I can't stand it anymore, and I'm going to call it out because it's nonsense. Isn't it? It's just ridiculous. They're reading things into it from their own narrow, ridiculous point of view, and that's why society's in the toilet today around the world because of these people.
It's just an excuse to kick off, isn't it? That's the thing. It's just any excuse to cause trouble. That's all it is.
It is. I'll come back to this in a second because we've got a couple of people in the chat saying stuff. So thank you very much to the Core Sci-Fi Fantasy with this super chat. Evening, gentlemen. It was a great job with the Siegel interview on Wednesday. Thank you so much. It was a joy. It was a joy to have him. I've got Genesis on the LP and it's signed by Tom's son Piers, who I terribly drunk with last year for my birthday. Oh, I see you had a few drinkies with
Oh, that sounds fun. Very good.
Well, good for you. And he signed that for you. He must have been saying, what's this? What's this? Good for you. That's nice. Let's have a look. Bill Lowry. Thanks, Core Sci-Fi. Is it they are showing the gap with Doctor Black? I don't know. It's best not to with these mentalists. It's best not to try and reason with them. And it's best try not to figure out what they're trying to say because it's all the same stuff. It's all the propaganda. It's all the same echo chamber. And it's basically putting their thoughts on you because they're the is, they're the phobes, they're the ots. And they try to make themselves out to be the virtue signaling saviors. They're not. They're actually insane. Marie UK's in the chat with us. Hello, lovely. How are you? The Forbidden Man is saying what you were saying there, Ian. Yeah, the Daleks are intent racists. Hello, Marine Boy. How are you? Paddy NI is saying to us, sounds like another example of the permanently offended. Certainly is. It certainly is. And I looked at his profile, and when I looked at it, I just thought, oh, here we go. The lunatics are out again for the day. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think they... Sorry, Paul, go on.
Because to be honest, though, that actual image of Shooty and the Daleks together is probably the best image I've seen with Shooty allegedly in character since he took the role, because
It's an action.
it looks very doctory, at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got a very Doctor Who vibes to it, which is wonderful. Really,
It's an action piece. Insinuating is idiot, says Marie UK, and Jack Sexter saying there's nothing racist about the pick. That's ridiculous. I know. Again, this idiot was just reading so much into it.
I think they're taking the lead from what RTD has been doing for several years, in that they'll steam in as he does, and they'll invent a scenario and then turn it so they're the victim. When if they just hadn't got involved at all, the world would be a better place. And RTD does that all the time. He invents threats, then he says he's the solution to the threat, and then points to us as being all the bad people causing the threat that never existed in the first place. And this is exactly the same kind of thing, I think. And they're probably taking the lead from him.
I just wish these people would grow up, and they're never going to grow up. That's why they're going to remain dangerous to society. And this is the far left for you. They are very, very dangerous because they are utterly mental. They are lunatic. And all they're wanting is validation to the point where they've gone insane. And we have been
attention-seeking, aren't we? That's the thing.
Well, it is. It's validation all the time to an extreme. You will do what I tell you I want you to do and perceive me the way I want you to perceive me. You know, they don't believe in democracy, as we know. You know, you just look at what's going on around us. But you know, we've got to be out with these people. We've got to be polite with them, but we have to put them firmly into the reality, because that was nonsense. So I just wanted to say to Phil, who put that picture together, I wanted to just support him, because I'm not tolerating this anymore. You know, you can't. We've got to support each other for sanity, common sense. Utter nonsense. Legion of Jameson, I think this JD needs to take a long, hard look at himself. He is the actualist, considering he made the presumption based on the doctor's skin color, always the same projection. That's exactly it. Yeah. Exactly. Hello, Pete Harrington. How are you, mate? You okay? Hope you've had a lovely day today. Kev Gresham's with us as well, saying hiya. Thank you for Legion of Jameson. Yeah, I just think it's important that we start doing it now, because I'm just fed up with it. I am up to here with this nonsense. And I can't tolerate it anymore. I'm going to call it out all the time now when I've seen it. Doctor Who 1963 quite rightly saying they changed the sonic screwdriver because they said it looked like a gun with Shooty. Was that Russell being racist? No, they didn't actually say that, Doctor Who 1963. I think I said that. They changed it because they didn't. They thought they wanted something completely different. But I read into it. Oh yeah, you can't have him having a pointy thing. Yeah, you can't have that because of stereotypical attitudes. I'm
more cynical on that. They just changed it for merchandise purposes. That was all.
It could be that as well. But they'd already just given the David Tennant version one. Why couldn't they kept that going with the Shooty Gatwa one and save themselves a bit of money? No, because it's pointy.
Yeah.
You know, so I think there was more into it. I think it was something more sinister on their behalf, to be quite honest, and their assumption, just like they did with Davros. Hello, Mark. Mark A. writes with us. They're not fans of Doctor Who. They're fans of their own ideology. Their time, however, is over, and they don't like it. There is a sense of that in the world now, isn't there? No matter whereabouts in the world you are, apart from the Middle East, I would imagine, where it's never been infected by ideology because they've got their own problems. But there is a sense of, I certainly feel it here in Britain. There is a sense now of people finally waking up and going, hang on a minute, that's homophobic. Or hang on a minute, what are you trying to tell me that? No, that's wrong. And it's very, very interesting to see where that's going to go. But I do believe, mate. Yeah, you're right. The tide is gently turning. The bubble is bursting. And they don't like it because they're going to lose control. Mark, thank you for your super chat. JT, that has to be on a T-shirt. Then I came along. I'll make a note of that. Then came along. Yeah, let's see what happens there, eh, Mark? Thank you for that one. Good to see you. Adrian James, hello to you as well. And Synth John quite rightly saying to us, just because you're offended, it doesn't make you right, Ricky Gervais.
Exactly,
I'm with Ricky Gervais an awful lot.
Me too, yeah.
And I love I love how he loves all the dogs and the animals and stuff like that. You know, he's doing so much to protect dogs at the moment, isn't he? I love that. God love him. And do you see that lovely outstation he had in that series he did about that guy, that lovely series?
Yeah.
What a well-behaved doggy he was, really was. Hello, Dystopian Nightmare. It's nice to see you. So does that make these blue gold Daleks more is than the other color Daleks? Good point. Good point. Where does the madness end with these people? We talked briefly about this last week, didn't we? We were looking at the people that had been interviewed for Doctor Who magazine.
Yeah.
You know, that hasn't helped at all to bring back that vile piece of work and his poison as well. I think that's ridiculous. Again, that was an example of forgiving people that have done wrong. And I'm not into that, guys. My memory is long. I don't forgive and I don't forget. Ask my exes. Yeah.
But it does again seem like one rule for one person and a different rule for someone else, doesn't it? Though it's double standards, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, I'm going to show it again, just out of spite to certain people. Sort of Phil Owens, great piece of work there, and keep them coming because I thought it was very dramatic. And yes, I got the joke, but I also thought, there's a story, you know, there's the story. Of course, there was another lunatic that says, oh, but she forget it was Doctor has met the Daleks. He's met them in the comic strip and in the book, and there's been in the... And I shall shut up. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you for that, everybody. I'm going to move on now to an update on what we talked about last week, and it's this nonsense. It's BBC Studios' latest multimedia platform event thingy called Circuit Breaker, which we first spoke about early last year. It's taken all that time to get it together and put it out. It's now coming out this month, I believe. I can't remember the dates, actually. It was this month or next month. Not that many of us on this channel are going to care, I'm sure. But yes, as you can see, this was the thing, as you'll remember if you were watching us last week, this is going to be on Blu-ray, it's going to be on DVD, it's going to be on audio, it's going to be in a comic strip, it's going to be in a book, all the usual stuff, isn't it? It's going to be all the usual stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, this week they had to promote the thing again after launch. And who did they get to launch it? Alongside Joe Martin, who's playing this alleged version of the Doctor, never on this channel, was of course our favourite dragat, Tia Coffey.
Yes, I did watch the first couple of minutes of this interview.
Did
and
you?
Then switched it off immediately. It was bloody awful, absolutely awful.
I didn't bother to watch it. You know, I got the screen grab and then came off it. I was just like, no, that's quite enough. But he must have been absolutely wetting himself to be able to wear that bloody outfit again.
It was feeling nauseating for the 2 minutes I managed to endure. It was awful. Yeah.
Well, if you are interested in this, of course, it is on the BBC Doctor Who official Tube of Who page. But I don't think many of us are, because not many of you last week in our poll said you were ever going to be investing in this thing, which leads to the question, who on earth are they aiming it at? It's a minority again. Remember we were talking about this last week? Which one is the drag queen again? Said Bill Oddie's love child, you naughty, naughty boy.
This is interesting. I was speaking to a friend of mine who loved all this multi-platform stuff. He got the Title of Victorious and even bought the Doomsday crap. And he said that last one was really awful, and he's not buying this one. So they've even lost people who were into it originally. That shows how low it's become.
Well, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Sorry?
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does speak volume. Yeah, it's also an awful lot of money at this particular time as well. And there's other things you can spend your money on, like your mortgage or your rent, or food. You know, I mean,
Or a proctologist.
There's so many different things on this as well. It's going to be about £300-400 if you continue and buy the whole thing. The Nate Channel wants to know, has Joe Martin actually filmed scenes added into these episodes? No. There's nothing new from her at all. But the whole thing that gets me is this doubling down again at the fandom. You know, that whole storyline that idiot Chibnall brought into Doctor Who, you will like it. Well, we don't, and we switched off, and we've moved away, and we've gone and touched grass like your leading man told us to do, and your show is no longer in production, and there isn't an audience for it when it comes back, and you're doubling down with this crap. I'm
still laughing, JT, that on the DVD that's coming out, our first episode has John Bannerman in it, and he's allowed to still be in it, which is great, I think. But they've not thought that one through, have they?
They haven't. And let me just remind you that the Blu-ray version, as you can see, the the artwork here. Well, it says artwork, not final, but you can see what they're pushing here. This has an awful lot, as we went through last week. This has a lot of different stories on. The only original Doctor Who is Genesis of the Daleks, because again, they just keep churning it out and churning it out and churning it out. I wonder why they're doing that. But yeah, it's basically the price of a original series Doctor Who collection box set on Blu-ray.
Ridiculous.
Why do they do it with these female doctors as opposed to be, well, they're not proper doctors, are they? But they have to be all sort of like empowering to women. Why do they have to dress like men?
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand this, and I'm glad you're asking the question, because the whole article or the whole interview this week, part of it was all about what the hell she's wearing. Now, I can't tell. I think she just looks like she's worn things before, but apparently they've changed the colours and they've given her a hat. Yippee-doo. Joe Martin reveals Doctor Who circuit breaker costume and character details, according to Cultbox.
There was a kind of diner type place called Fat Sam's in Edinburgh. I don't know if there was any branches anywhere else, but she looks like Fat Sam's. He was the logo of the guy, like a gangster from the 30s or 20s, whatever. And that's what she looks like. Awful.
I'll never get used to the Doctor being able to wear blue nail varnish. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. But
yeah.
Let's get into this, because it showed me how ridiculous this whole thing is, because all they can talk about is what she's wearing, and she's not. Why have they spent money on an outfit that nobody's going to see apart from the marketing? And a lot of the marketing is artwork. So why have they done that? BBC Studios, they must have more money than God. Actress Jo Martin sat down with tea or coffee in a new video to talk about that, The Fugitive's Doctor's new look, and tease what lies ahead in the multi-platform Doctor Who story Circuit Breaker. Jo Martin hinted that fans will see a more vulnerable side to the fugitive Doctor in Circuit Breaker. Jo Martin says she's a very decisive Doctor. She doesn't kind of question what she's doing, even if she's getting it wrong. I think in other things that we're going to be exploring with her, you do see her vulnerable side a bit more, which is really interesting. Yeah. But in the first things that we've seen of her, she's very like, which some fans have loved, and some are a bit like, oh, she's a bit abrasive, but she's not. That's also, things that we do to hide stuff. I don't like all this, stuff,
She's getting down with the kids, obviously. That's what she's doing.
Now, this I don't understand. In her description of the new iteration of her costume, Martin said that the buttons on her costume are inspired by the TARDIS roundels, along with the new colour of fabric for her blouse. What a lovely blouse. The inside of her hat is lined with kente cloth to honour her African heritage via Jamaica. Also inside the hat is small letters is One Love, Two Hearts, a riff on Jamaica's singer, songwriter and guitarist Bob Marley's song One Love. She also commented that her Doc Martin boots, and buttoned-up waistcoat give her a strong stance and posture. Well, Doc Martin boots, when laced up properly, will do that because they go right up your leg. But I don't understand this.
How can the Doctor be Jamaican? He's Gallifreyan, or she's Gallifreyan, surely.
I don't understand this, because what's the Doctor got to do with Africa? Why are they inserting, apart from DEI reasons, Who viewers, why are they putting in all this African stuff, like they did with that barber crap thing, which they were celebrating on the social media today for the BBC, by the way. They were celebrating that it's been a year since that crap was actually put out there, and it's up for the Hugo Award, which we also covered last week. So, why are they insisting? Why do they have to do that? Why do they have to put in something called kente cloth to honor the African heritage of the actor? Now, of course, they did this with Ncuti as well, because they put all those symbols from whatever language it was on the sonic screwdriver and into the TARDIS and all this nonsense. Why? What is going on? This is a British television show. This is a British character, and the actor should be British playing him.
But he's also an alien who's got nothing to do with Africa whatsoever. But I mean, the other thing with her as well, we've just had 2 years of a fraud doctor who cried every 2 minutes, and now we've got her playing somebody who's more vulnerable. Really, what is this? What is it? You compare this to Bill Hartnell or Troughton or anybody from the classic series, and you can tell they are not the same. This is not the same character. This is not the same show. This is absolute, utter bollocks, all of it.
Well, again, I just think it's more, Who viewers, please challenge me if you think I am wrong. very happy to be educated. But I think this is more of the BBC's ongoing DEI, which they spent millions of bringing in, to be able to say, oh, look at us, aren't we clever? It's not about the character anymore. They brought in this woman unnecessarily, the second one, and in unnecessary and unwanted gender swaps, by the way, for our favorite Time Lord. And then now they're saying, oh, and because she's African, we're going to highlight that. Why? Why? Who wants that? Are you going to show this story in those parts of Africa? Or this? Are you going to sell it there? No.
But it's a huge misunderstanding of the character for a start, isn't it? They've no idea who the Doctor is, and this is just muddying the waters even more, isn't it? To be honest,
I think it's disgraceful. And again, they expect us to buy into this. And I'm just again, it's part of this whole thing of me becoming a lot more aware because of these agendas that people have been pushing. And I don't like this. I think this is not only have they demasculated the Doctor and made him into a mincing, prancing ninny, as well as two alleged women. Alleged forms of a woman in there, which never should have happened. But now they're pushing all this other stuff about honouring Gatwa's Rwandan heritage and honouring this woman's African heritage. It's one of those things. I just don't get it. We've got a super chat here saying, hang on, Ian, I've got to get through this. We've got Digby here saying to us for a super chat, Joe Martin is the ultimate tick box doctor. And we thought we'd seen it all with the introduction of Jodie Whittaker. Mark Greaves is saying to us for a super chat, unfortunately, it looks like the Odyssey film is going to be woke as well. A huge rumor going that they cast Elliot Page as Achilles, one of the greatest warriors played by someone 4'11" and not male. It doesn't surprise me. This is Hollywood. I will not be going to see the Odyssey. I'm not interested in it at all. I'm not interested in any of this stuff that's happening now. They're ruining everything. What other super chats have I got here? Gosh, there's a lot of you in the chat. Great to see you. I'm losing a couple though. So Ian, I might need you to look to see if you can find them for me.
No problem.
I've got one here from.
We've got one from Core of Sci-Fi Fantasy.
I'm trying to find it. If you can read that for me while I try to find it, because the chat.
Yeah. They say, sorry, JT, maybe I'm thick. I'm sure you're not, Core of Sci-Fi. Can you break it down and explain what this circuit breaker crap is?
Oh yeah, there.
How long have you got?
Well, we looked at it last week, Core of Sci-Fi Fantasy. I can't really. It's basically another desperate attempt to grab money from Doctor Who fans. However, it didn't work for them in the last two. This is a carbon copy of Time Lord Victorious and
the Doomsday Club. Yeah.
Doomsday. Yeah. So this is one continuous story where this version of the alleged Doctor is running around time and space looking for something, and each version is, and you have to buy comics, you have to buy books, you have to buy records, you have to buy CDs, you have to buy the Blu-ray, just to get the story going. It's all part of this overarching arc. Now, the last two versions of this didn't work. So why they've come out with the third one? Well, because they're doubling down and they're just not listening. That's all it is. That's all it is. What else have I got? I've got another one here.
Super chat from John Keeley.
Hang on, Ian. I've got a super chat. I haven't got this hasn't got anything to do with this part of the conversation at all, but I better put it in now with Lex saying to us for a super chat. Thank you, Lex. Michael Pennington, Return of the Jedi, dies at 82. I don't know who Michael Pennington is, Lex. Sorry. Who's that?
I don't know.
No idea. No, I don't know who that is, but sorry, he's died. But thank you all for your super chats.
We have one from the John Keeley as well, JT.
I'm trying to get through them. Hold on, I'm trying to get through them. They're all coming through now. The John Keeley here. Good evening, gentlemen. Hope all are well. Joe Martin is not the Doctor. End of. Absolutely, yep. John. Totally agree with that one. I've got another one here from Farsight. Thank you, mate. The BBC think the Doctor can't be just British. Again, because we're dealing with the anti-BBC now. Now, when I was a kid, anti-BBC meant something else. It meant anti-BB. It meant something that was cozy. I'm very British. It's anti-BBC now, ANTI, because those lunatics within the BBC now hate Britain. They hate Britain. And it's all about being diverse and being all over the place. And, you know, they hate Britain. They'll do anything. And this is what's the problem. Again, the problem with the far left. They just can't stand us. So, yes, that's what they're trying to do, that. And Mark Reeves, thank you for this. I feel I need to share my Viking heritage with the BBC and Bad Wolf to see if they are some accommodating with someone who's not African. I think the DEI stuff has gone far too far. And this nonsense that I saw this week about this just wound me up. Absolutely ridiculous. The hat, says Lex Kane, looks more like Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones hat. I mean, is that all they've done? They've changed the color of the blouse and given her a hat.
She's obviously trying to tell Tom Baker with a fedora, isn't she? Let's be honest. She's trying to have that kind of Tom Baker hat look, isn't she? To try and get some credibility, but it's just a bloody hat. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
The thing is, at the end of Capaldi's era, the general on Gallifrey regenerated, obviously gender swapped into a black woman who immediately made a sexist comment, a derogatory comment about being male, naturally, because that's the way it was going. But she didn't stand up and, as a black woman, immediately start talking Swahili. So it's clearly something that they're really making a point of driving home now, isn't it, with Gatwa and Martin? With all the iconography and the symbolism and all that.
I think this thing is so out of touch with Doctor Who fandom. I think this thing is so out of touch with what's going on in Britain now. I think I think it's absolutely ridiculous, all this DEI crap. It's got to stop, because it's not including people. It's actually excluding more than it includes. And to do a whole video about, oh, look, I've got a new hat and a new lovely looking blouse. Get a bloody grip. Darren Reed is saying to us, didn't Bob Marley release a single called No Woman, No Doctor? Couldn't tell you, Darren. I think Bob Marley is one of the most overrated performers in history. I cannot stand all that crap. I don't even know what you call it. Is it Reggie or something like that? I can't be done with it. I never liked it. Yeah, Reggie. Yeah, I know. But I never liked it, never appreciated it, and I just never liked it. I think he's totally overrated, that performer. Absolutely awful. Hello, Ezra Goldstein. How are you? John the Computer Doctor saying to us, they seem to be mixing up the character with the actor, which is crazy. For the second time, because they did it with Gatwa, John the Computer Doctor. Oh, we'll look at the actors. I don't seem to remember them doing anything with a couple of Liverpool doctors in there. You know, oh, we'll do something there, you know. I know they tried to do something for Sylvester with the scarf, but he got rid of the tartan very quickly and changed it to Paisley, which was more subtle. But they didn't go bragging about it, did they?
No.
I don't know. I don't get it, everybody, but it's very tiring. Problem being, how are you? It's good to see you in the chat. I'll speak to you in the week. Yeah, we'll have a catch up. So thank you very much. I love you. Yeah, I mean, problem being is saying to us here, going to need more than a sodding hat to make her the Doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
She's not the Doctor, though. It's what I mean about this doubling down, Who viewers. You know, we knew about this last year. Now it's come out here. I can't wait to try and get sales figures, and by God, I will be trying to get the sales figures, even have to pay for them.
The bizarre thing about this is, I would say Peter Cushing is more the Doctor than she is, and he's not a canon Doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why does he not turn up anywhere? You know?
Yeah.
I know he's dead, but what I mean is in general. You know, but
you know, again, we'll all get attacked now for being misogynist and os and phobe. I don't care. I'm over it. I'm really over it. Sticks and stones and all that nonsense. I don't care. This isn't Doctor Who. They have absolutely killed this show.
Well, even the Valyard, Michael Jensen doesn't get a look in either, does he? No. And they keep putting up these
white
lines.
Man.
Yeah, these lines of doctors, and these new kind of 5-minute doctors turn up in the lineup, but he's nowhere to be seen. You know, like he's been 14 bloody episodes. You know what I mean? So,
and I think it's because it's another white man in the lineup.
Yeah.
You know, and they can't have that, can they? They have to start doing the diversity stuff now. But, you know, here's a hint to the BBC. Don't bother, because your show is dead. And we're certainly not there ready to pick it up for you and support it again. Not a chance.
Definitely not. No.
A lot of work to do if you think we're all coming back, pals. Thank you, Stephen Braddock, for your lovely comment in there as well. I wanted to try and stay on topic at the moment, because we are dealing with this whole circuit breaker thing. Hi, I am your servant. You're right. And Pete Harrington saying to us here that the hat makes all the difference. Yeah, keep taking the pills. It's just tiring. I get tired with the whole thing. Yokai63 wants to know, what about the Schalke Doctor? Well, what about him? That was no.
I don't know about Joe Martin. I think Trevor Martin's got more right to be called a Doctor. To be quite honest.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. And Hat Ben, says Stephen Elries. Hat Ben. Well done, Stephen. It's true. And Lex has given us a super chat here. He played in Return of the Jedi as the commanding officer of Death Star 2, overseeing the station's construction and nervously when Darth Vader appears. Oh, I remember that scene. Okay, thanks, Lex. Thank you. Not a name I remember. Certainly not somebody I've met in my time. And Woodhouse122 saying, sadly, all I care about now is classic Who. I am done with new Who. As many, many, many people are.
Yeah.
Many people are. And that's the problem. And I think they're about to, again, who's it for? Who's going to buy this? Are they going to go out? Are there a minority of fans left who are loving all this and thinking, oh, God, it's so great to see? And I'm sick and tired of hearing this. She deserves a series. Why does she deserve a series? Why exactly? Are you really trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel? Who's going to watch it? They didn't watch Gatwa. They lost it during Whittaker. And we're going to come to this later on in the show if we've got time, because these people are all about them. They're missing the bigger picture, which is the picture of the not-wees. If this show is not popular with the British public, there is no show. And it's not popular with the British public. Why would you spend millions of pounds producing something for a minority of people around about 1 million?
Yeah, like you say, let's see what the sales figures are like, and how many people bought them. That'll be the truth to how much fans want this.
Exactly. And of course, they had to bring out Tea or Coffee again, didn't they?
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, it's their obsession, ongoing obsession, isn't it, with drag?
Yeah. For those people out there who might tune into the show and scream at you, and I know you're out there because I get the comments, I don't care. I honestly don't care, but you need to listen to this. This has come from this week as well. MovieWeb. Doctor Who rules out another returning star for the 2026 comeback special. Comeback special?
Comeback special.
Comeback special.
Go away special, more like, yeah.
I had to say this, not in relation to this article from MovieWeb, but something anyway. I had one of my, weird stalker type people who always leaves angry faces after I say anything. And I don't care. But I always manage to put him in his place because he's just stupid. And he came back and saying, basically he said, the show is not harmed. There's a Christmas special and a new series for 2027. And I had to get back to him saying, yet again, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I quoted back Zy Bennett from our show about what Zy Bennett said about, hey, we're going to get Christmas out of the way, then we're going to look at it. And I said, you've got to prepare yourself for a mental breakdown. Because if it was a show coming in 2027, it would be filming now. There's nothing, they haven't even got the Christmas thing in production now as we're speaking in May 2026. The show is in the toilet. It's ridiculous. So to call it a comeback, everybody, well, that says it all for me, because if you're going to come back with one episode, what happens then?
It's more like a goodbye, isn't it?
It's going to have more comebacks and share at this.
Yeah, God, yeah.
The article, guys, says this from MovieWeb. The divisive way in which Gatwa left the show as the 15th Doctor in 2025 capped off an equally polarizing run. With Doctor Who's reputation in tatters and still no confirmed star to play the Time Lord when the story resumes, many are theorizing that showrunner RTD will resort to another stunt casting to reinvigorate the interest. It worked when Tennant was recalled to help celebrate Doctor Who's 60th anniversary in 2023. That's arguable. So it could just be effective again. If RTD does opt to explore the route of bringing back a former Doctor, there are several options of varying likelihood. However, one will be a little too overexposed to get involved. Jo Martin's Fugitive Doctor was one of the most controversial additions to Doctor Who lore introduced during Chibnall's time as showrunner. She came packaged as part of a storyline that revealed countless and forgotten versions of the Doctor who existed before William Hartnell's first. There was a lot of pushback from fans at the time, and I'll just add there still is. But the twist remains part of the official canon to this day. She racked up 4 live-action appearances under Chibnall, good God, and also showed up for a brief cameo in Gatwa's final season. Despite the borderline nonsensical manner in which she entered the fray, many viewers have really taken to Martin's version of the Doctor. They've even been calling for her to be awarded a spin-off, or at least the chance to lead the upcoming Christmas effort.
That's why she's got a new hat. That'll be why.
No, that'll be it, yeah. She's been largely restricted to audio dramas, though, which are generally considered non-canon. Absolutely. Still, Bog Vanish is set to launch a multimedia epic called Circuit Breaker with BBC Studios, I'll add there, because it's not just them, there's lots of partners, centered around Martin's fugitive Doctor. Doctor Who fans will be able to follow a complex arc across various books, games, comics, and more. The event won't reach as far as the show itself and isn't expected to have any notable involvement from RTD. He had to sign it off, though. Therefore, it's only about as canon as fans want it to be, but it can be more accurately described as a standalone project. Regardless, just as it would be a step too far to recall Tennant to the cast, as well as allowing him to return as the 10th Doctor with Bog Vanish, the same is also true of the Joe Martin situation. Sure, the fugitive Doctor is far less prolific in the show than either of Tennant's Doctors, of course she bloody is, but Circuit Breaker very much sounds like it's going to be its own thing that will give Martin's character her biggest chance to shine yet. It's certainly not impossible that Circuit Breaker could be a way to prime fans for her return to live action this Christmas, but similar instances in the past don't support that scenario. If we assume for a second that RTD isn't planning to showcase a new Doctor in the next episode or attempt something especially wild, then looking at the show's history of former Doctors can be a helpful exercise. That said, one of them stands out above the rest, Paul McGann.
Yay!
Since debuting in 1996 canon but awful Doctor Who movie, McGann's iteration of the Time Lord has appeared only sporadically in the show itself. He led the 2013 50th anniversary tie-in short Night of the Doctor and also snagged a cameo appearance in The Power of the Doctor to help bid Whittaker's Doctor farewell. McGann does have a great many Doctor Who audio projects to his name, though, in which he has reprised the role of the 8th Doctor. This constant collaboration with the franchise has resulted in fans demanding a more prominent on-screen role for McGann, but this has yet to happen. Maybe 2026 is the year that he gets his well-earned shot. Although McGann still has some 8th Doctor audio ventures to drop this year, they're not being pushed quite as much as Circuit Breaker is, and they're not quite so complex as Martin's up-and-coming cross-media storyline. Furthermore, there have been rumoured sightings of McGann in costume as the Doctor, as well as supposedly leaked images from the show set that show him in character. The latter could easily be an AI-generated hoax, but the rumours should at least be respected as possible given the show's need for something big when it returns at Christmas. Personally, says the writer, I'm a little torn about the possibility. While I'd love to see McGann given the chance to lead the 2026 episode, I also think Doctor Who needs more fresh blood like Gatwa rather than leaning on the same safe and familiar faces. Doctor Who is a show about the very concept of change. There it is again. So embracing that would be more true to form. So a very confusing article there. So one minute he's talking about the Joe Martin thing and how that could happen with a Circuit Breaker. And then he said, but here's Paul McGann, but I'm not sure about that side of stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. Firstly, I take offence to the fact that the TV movie was awful. I don't think it is, personally. But the 5 appearances of Joe Martin, she's lucky if she's racked up half an hour of screen time, to be honest. Wouldn't you agree, Ian, from what
she was
she's
just
done?
flickering in and out, wasn't she, towards the end of Whittaker's?
Yeah,
I mean, that was, I'd pick up on the same thing as you, Paul. That canon but awful comment was outrageous. You just have to go back to our show during the week with Phil Siegel and the absolute amount of love that was pouring out to that guy 30 years on. Yeah. Now, you compare that. If that was canon but awful, what the bloody hell has the last 10 years been?
Yeah.
I mean, dear God, over 10 million people watched the McGann thing on BBC when it was transmitted 30 years ago. 10 million people. Whittaker and Gatwa could only dream of half that amount on the overnights. And what's the rating since? What were the 28 days? What's the 365-day ratings? What's the 30-year ratings? Because isn't that what we do now? I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous. And saying at the end, we need more new blood, like Gatwa. This sounds like a Keir Starmer thing. They even got change in there, didn't they? It's like Keir Starmer, the worst, most hated PM in British history. What's he done to shore up his government? He's brought in the second most hated PM, Gordon Brown. And Harriet Harman he's got a PDF file problem. I won't say it, JT, in his government with Mendelssohn and all the others. So what does he do? He brings in a woman who was married to a bloke that actually actively promoted it. I mean, come on. And this is the same. It's been an abject failure, and all they're doing is saying, let's have more of that. Absolute morons.
I
agree with the fact.
I just want to say at this stage as well, as you mentioned Harriet Harman, of course, is one of those Labour MPs that can't tell what a woman is, Paul.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I agree with the fact that Doctor Who needs to change. This change thing about it's always about change, that's nonsense. But it needs new blood in terms of new actors coming along. I think nostalgia, as much as I love it as a fan, is going to kill the series stone dead. There's too much of that now. Too much of Tennant coming back, Billy Piper, blah, blah, blah. They need a new Doctor, a new actor to take the reins and take it somewhere good. But no one like Gatwa, please. No one like Gatwa ever again, please.
We've got Derek Hart in the chat saying to us that he'd rather have Paul than Joe Martin. And Who Knows 63, Eddie is saying to us, don't let RTD anywhere near McGann's Doctor. That's actually my fear. That's my fear, because I don't think he could write for that Doctor at all.
Well, they've already jumped on a really bizarre bandwagon at Bog Fanish. The Eighth Doctor had a gay relationship in one of the stories. So it's like they're already doing it with him.
What? Say that again, please.
Bog Fanish have, at one point in McGann's era, alluded to the Eighth Doctor having a gay lover. So, they've even started tampering with him there.
What? What?
Yeah. Do you want to repeat it again?
No.
No.
I'm allowing it to settle in.
Yeah.
What? How? It's the Doctor.
Yeah.
Just like RTD, it shows that the morons at Big Finish don't understand anything about that subject matter.
It shows to me that they're following who's dictate and trying to kiss his arse so much to be able to say, oh, look, we can do it too.
Exactly.
He puts the dick in dictate, doesn't he?
It's at this point, though, while I'm getting over that shock. In fact, I might not ever get over that shock. That's absolutely ridiculous. What are they doing? They're supposed to be custodians of the franchise. They're supposed to be honouring stuff. That is one of the most ridiculous things I've heard about this whole era. I can't wait to see somebody from Bog Fanish at some convention or another. I'm having you. Be ready for it. It's at this point I want to give you today's poll, Who viewers. You can. It's very simple. The question, and you can take part in this if you're in the chat. The question is simple to tie in with this. After what we've just been talking about, should the Christmas 2026 episode be cancelled? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Nice and easy for you, everybody. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Let's see what our chat says. We've got a lot of you watching us this evening. Hello to you all. If you're in the chat, you can actually do this. Go ahead now. You can vote now. And we'll come to that in just a second. Thank you very much, everybody. But I'm just, through that article, it made me think about the fact, it just reminded me that Doctor Who at the moment is in a mess. And as we said the other night when Mr. Siegel came onto the show and we were talking about this, and we were actually saying, weren't we, or I said at one point, there is no Doctor in play now. And there still is no Doctor in play now. So maybe this, I've been saying for a while, this is the perfect time to bring Paul McGann back. And I do agree with Who Knows there. I do agree with Eddie by saying I would be worried about RTD writing that episode.
Yeah.
Because I think he would try and emasculate that beautiful version of the Doctor, who is actually quite a bohemian. I'm using the word romantic, but I'll say it in the Renaissance type of romanticism. I'm not saying kissy, kissy, lovey, lovey. I'm saying in that whole, the beauty of life, the love of the universe, the love of investigating and experiencing things. Yeah. So there could be something done there. But who's going to bring them in more for a Christmas Day episode? Paul McGann or somebody they've never heard of?
Yeah, definitely Paul McGann for me. That I would adore that. But like you say, if Russell tampers with the lore for the Eighth Doctor, as Bog Fanish have done, it will just kill it stone dead.
Well, he's tampered with everything else.
He has. Yeah. And of course, he's now moved to Channel 4. He's got Tiptoe coming out this month on Channel 4. He's been swanning around with the boy toy in Europe, having a lovely time. Good for them. And now he's going to be working on the next thing for Channel 4, which he's also confirmed, which could actually go into production next year. So that could be, these could be his last days of writing stuff, because he needs to, in my opinion, he just needs to retire and go away now. The movie, copyright critical drinker there, wasn't it? The movie was more Doctor Who than all of New Who, said Farsight. And Doctor Who 1963, guys, we used to get 8 million per episode, no problem. Now it's struggling to get 3 million. Our fan base has literally been destroyed by these idiots. Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. Hi, PVFS. It's nice to see you. How are you? Awful. This person is on drugs. McGann is awful, but Gatwick is fresh. Yeah, certified fresh. Thank you for that one. Synth John is saying, yeah, I remember watching the Paul McGann movie like it was yesterday, just as well, because we're reviewing it in a couple of weeks on May the 27th. Please come back and join us live at 8. And Paul McGann should have gotten time, says FKHC 2005.
And that doesn't mean going to prison.
No, I don't think so. No. John Steed is saying that nobody who is a casual viewer will even know who Joe Martin's Doctor is. They would only tune in if a well-known actor took over. This is what I think, John. They have to go back to basics, and they have to have an actor that can act, that can build a character, that is vaguely recognizable to the public, possibly now, to make them think this thing is serious again, because we're back in the late 80s. Whether we like to admit it or not, time has repeated itself. We are now back in the late 80s, where the show is looked on in Britain as a joke. It really, really is. And this time, the only difference I see is the fact that we have a rabid minority fan base that doesn't like you pointing out that the thing was a flop from when Whittaker took over and Chibnall took over. Shocking.
And it doesn't have that fan base willing to assist in bringing it back.
No,
it's lost that. It lost that 2-3 years ago with the touching grass, and it lost it even before that with Whittaker in her first interview. Don't be afraid of my gender.
Like we were.
I remember that. Problem being, quite rightly saying to us, you could cast the best actor on the planet, but if the scripts are crap, there's no point. And look who's writing the script for the Christmas one. And as we know, he's got several variants ready, depending on which actor he can probably get into the role. This thing is in trouble, and they've got to admit it. And quite frankly, BBC Studios, save your time, save your effort, save your money. Just can it. Nobody will know apart from us, and people will get over it because the public have gone. They don't care. You're going to show this thing if you go into production on Christmas Day or whenever. They're not coming to watch you.
Can they do a Batgirl on it? Remember the Batgirl movie that was canned by Warner Brothers? Awful. Just can it, pay him off, don't show it, let the franchise grow up a bit and have time to have a gap and then come back in 10 years' time. That is going to come back at all. Yeah.
A lot of you in the chat didn't know about this from Big Finish as well. I cannot believe. Why didn't Paul McGann turn around and go, actually, I know why an actor wouldn't turn around and go like that. That's the sad
I've not heard this story, but I believe it's true if other fans have heard it. I've got stuff to catch up with Bog Finish, but I've not got to that one yet. When I get to it, I'll let you know. But I've not heard it, but I've heard about the story being that's what's happened, which is awful.
Right.
If they tried to do it with Tom, he would have just said, "This script is whippet shit. I am not doing it."
I think he said worse than that. I think.
I can't believe they've done that to what is supposed to be the Doctor, but the 8th Doctor as well. I think that's criminal. Yeah. And I hope it didn't sell, because I don't like them as regular viewers to this channel. I don't like them anyway. I don't like their attitudes. I don't like what they did to retailers who had supported them for however many years it was from launch in 1999. And then they turned around years later and said, by the way, we're going to sell it ourselves first, and then you'll get it a few weeks later or a few months after, so that everybody was going to them first, and it killed it. I didn't like them from that moment on. I didn't like the way they treated certain authors. I didn't like the way they did certain things. I don't like certain people that work for them. I just don't like them. Do you get the point? You know?
I'm just saying they were quite good to start off with, and I enjoyed them very much at the start.
They were great when they started off, but they needed them there. And then you can actually see where all the poison comes in from the far left, you know? And of course, obviously, they got too fanciful and full of fan wank, didn't they? When Russell comes in and I mean, GR at this point starts going, "Oh, we can do this and this and that." Oh, please, the continuity was hurting my head. Just give me a 4-episode story like the Spectre of Lanyon Moore. That's all you need to do. Like the Apocalypse element, which was a bit continuity, but it was still enjoyable. Like the Marianne conspiracy, lovely story. But fantastic, it's no wonder that they're only selling to a niche audience now. Siegel's with us, guys. You could bring out a McGann episode on Betamax and it would still sell more than Whittaker and Gatwa Blu-rays and DVDs put together.
I never had a Betamax and I'd still buy it.
Yeah.
So would I. I'd rush out and buy a machine as well. Yeah. So.
The guys in the chat will know. Apparently somebody did that recently and they brought out a video of something that nobody could play. And it sold like hotcakes because the 80s are back, aren't they?
Yeah. So, yeah.
You know, so you lot will know about that in the chat. I don't know which one it was, but somebody, or was it a musician? But somebody brought out a VHS of something and it sold really, really well. And I just thought, don't start this again. I can't be done with this.
Yeah, I'm not going round again. No way. Yeah.
No, not at all. God, thank you for everybody for your chat here. Keep putting it all in. Hello, Jack. The chat just jumped there. Let me just try and find that from Jack Texter there. The bigger issue isn't the cast, but it's getting the right production team. And that means ensuring the likes of RTD, Chibnall and Moffat and the majority of their associates nowhere near the series. I totally agree. I totally agree. But then you look around and you think, who can do this? Who, Jack, is going to take on Doctor Who now? We, again, as I said before, we're looking at the repeat of the 80s. John Nathan Turner, end. Nobody wanted to take over from Nathan Turner. It's the same now. I don't think anyone wants to touch this thing, guys.
No. It'd be
That's a poison chalice. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they have to do one, get rid of RTD. Let Rob Shearman write it and Joe Ahern direct it and have McGann in it.
That sounds good. Yeah.
That sounds okay. That sounds okay. I just don't think it's worth doing. I'm going to come to the chat.
No, I agree with you, though. I do.
Yeah.
But if they're going to do it, I'd rather they did that than have those poisonous piss whistles that are talentless at the best of times, that have just trashed it anyway. What's the point?
Yeah.
Derek Hart is saying, I've still got my VHS video recorders. I'd keep hold of them if I were you, because they might be back in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then at least you're ready. You imagine having to go back in. I'd like to buy a VHS record book. God, it's bizarre, isn't it? It was all this thing about. I blame Stranger Things personally. Everybody, I have to say, I do. I blame all that. A good actor will avoid this mess like the plague, says Paul Richards. Totally agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree. And it's sad, isn't it? It's sad. They've done it, and they've done it. They've destroyed it absolutely brilliantly, and it is very, very sad. Let's have a look then, shall we? Let's go into the poll. Ooh, crikey. Doctor Who. Oh, gosh. The chat is moving so quickly. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Doctor Who 1963 saying to us, the uni students who did the Daleks Master Plan remake could probably make a very faithful show. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. I'm just worried about anybody now that is coming into the industry because they've been indoctrinated by this nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, one of you in the chat was telling us a few weeks ago that you had went to, you had gone to a writer's class, hadn't you? And you'd said everybody was writing about feeling and identity. That's not going to make a TV show. And then when you look at it with that frame of reference, you think that's all is on. Yeah. That's all that's there. That's all they're churning out. I think that's going to be around for a little while, sadly. Urum, nice to see you. The only person I thought might get control of Doctor Who but didn't is Mark Gatiss, but he's that clique, totally. Yeah. As is Pete McTeague, McTighe, however you want to say it, who there were lots of people after he's won that award at the Dwells this weekend. I noticed on the comments, a lot of people going, oh, the next showrunner, give him the showrunner. No. I don't agree.
They said that about Chibnall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that turned out.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's have a look at the poll. I'm going to stop the poll now, everybody. Thank you so much for it. Here we go. The results are in. Should the Christmas 2026 episode be cancelled? 3% of you in the chat said no. Thank you for your honesty. Really appreciate it. But 97% of you said yes. It should be cancelled.
Oh, I think they're undecided on this one. Yeah.
Thank you for that, everybody. So 97% of our audience that's in the chat this evening who voted said yes, the 2026 episode should be cancelled. I'm with that as well. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think, why bother? Why bother with it? Who's going to watch it? Who's it for? Etc. Etc.
Yeah, just leave it. Start afresh at some point in the next 10 years. Don't bring back anything we had from last year because that'd be awful. Don't try and tie anything up. Just leave it alone. Don't make it worse.
Well, Oram is saying to us here that Bob Fanish said that they wouldn't hire impersonators when they started. I remember that as well. Yeah. They've changed their tune massively in that, and there's so many poor impersonations. I still think it's very disrespectful. And why you bother? Stop it. It's because the TV show started to do it with Bloody Bradley and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it winds me up. And Bedweers with us saying, I think no, because a failed Christmas special will end the prospect of another series. It will. It absolutely will, because it's going to flop, isn't it, Bedweer? We know that. I mean, you know, who is going to watch it? And I think it's right. But then we have had Zy Bennett saying, as BBC Studios, the new boss, we'll get the Christmas thing out of the way and then we'll look at it. It's as though they're writing the Christmas thing off already to be able to say, right, we're going to have to look at Doctor Who to fix it. So I think it will be off the air now for quite a while, you know. But you've still got You Know Who writing it. I tell you. Mark is saying to us, I'm the 3%. Stand in the corner. I just have some macabre desire to see how far they can screw it up further. It's like a slow motion car crash and I can't turn away. Well, there you are. You get in the corner, Mark. You're very, very naughty. And while you're there, buy yourself a mug or a t-shirt. Good man. Very good. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Hello, Legion of James. BF's quality and standards of writing have plummeted as their prices go up and up and up, and they are horrendous now. Yeah, well, we're going to be actually celebrating, in a sense, the days when actually I think many of us bought it before all the nonsense was set on us, because this week, of course, as part of our 8 at 30 celebrations, we are going to be reviewing Sword of Orion, which is the 8 Doctors' first meeting with the Cybermen, which forms not just part of our celebrations of the 30 years of the 8 Doctors, but also part of the 60 years of our Cybermen series. So if you're around, you've got time now to go and listen to that. If you've got it, you can get it on download. And come and join us, because they did do a lot of stuff, good stuff, and I think
they did indeed. Yeah.
So a lot of you, and I'm going to point out now as well, a lot of you have emailed me over the last year to say, can you look at some of the big finishes? And my original intention, guys, was not to.
Yeah.
But the team, you guys in the chat, have convinced me. Now, if this is successful, we'll look at more. Up to a point. I think we'll probably go up to Zagreus.
Yeah, that's when it all went downhill. Yeah.
Oh, went weird from Zagreus.
I got them all up until Zagreus and then just thought, no.
Yeah, it did go a bit odd. It was hard work after that with that Keres chap. It was hard work. Connor Sullivan saying to us, Doctor Who needs to move away from executive producer and showrunner and go back to like it was in the classic. Have a producer and script editor. Plus, don't have a story or villain of the week and have a whole series story. You'll know I'll agree with you, Connor, about script editor and producer, but I would like to see the variant. That was the beauty of Doctor Who. Every 4 weeks it changed, and that's what helped to build up the audience, because you were excited. If you didn't like one story, it didn't matter, because you knew like you're going to get another one coming up. You know, that's the beauty. If you're going to do 8-episode arc or a 13-episode arc, wherever it would be, like the Trial of a Time Lord, if you find yourself in episode 4, I don't like this, you're going to switch off.
Yeah.
A variety is the spice of life, as my nan used to say.
Yeah.
She did. God love her. John Mason is saying that he jumped off at Zagreus as well. Funky says Zagreus sits inside your head. Legion of James, very clever. Zagreus is the start of the downfall. It was such a shame. It was too ambitious, I think, for what they were trying to do.
They just got a little bit up their own backsides and thought that they were untouchable. They could do whatever they liked, whenever they liked. And it'd already been wobbly. It almost got to the point where it seemed like it was entity of the week. And then you got Zagreus and it was just like, sod off. Can't be bothered anymore. It's too much money, even then.
Yes, even then, yeah. Jason Parker, if I had damaged BBC property like RTD, Moffat and Chibnall, I would have been prosecuted. That's true.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And St. John is saying, I would like to hear Sword of Orion. Well, you can, my friend. It's now available. I know it's on Spotify. So if you've got access to that, you can actually go and listen to the 4 episodes on it there. You might also be able to find it on the Tube of Who. I don't know. But shop around, go and listen to it. You've got a couple of days. We're going to be reviewing that on Wednesday. And then we'll see what you guys think about that and whether or not it's worth us carrying on. Because it's the only way we can actually continue the 8th Doctor within Who's Views. Once we go to the TV movie, you know. Oh, it's all lots of you in the chat with us. Good evening. This is your big show. It's headlines. It's Who's Views. It's nice to see you. It's the 10th of May, 2026. And I'm going to try and calm down now because that was all a bit of a sort of, I can't believe what they've just done there. But anyway, I shall try and move on. Oh, God, it's a very difficult thing. I very quickly just want to move on to, we've mentioned him, but here he is again. So this is your warning. We're going to talk for a couple of minutes now about RTD.
Boo.
Here he is, everybody. Because as we know, he has a new, we've been talking about it for a year. He has this new TQ cult drama coming out. It's on Channel 4 this month. It's called Tiptoe. And the publicity has started. Now, one of the funny things that got me this week, if I can find this now, was an article which actually said, oh gosh, now I've lost it. Hang on. Oh, here it is. This was the most anticipated drama of the year.
By who?
Obviously not by most of us. But yes, there you go. The media are really on board with this, and they are really going to be supporting this, as we sort of knew. We had this that came out from Nation Simru the last couple of days. RTD is set to discuss his life, career, and how he changed the face of British culture in a special fundraising event on the 15th of May at the Sherman Theatre in Cardiff, everybody. There you go. Now, he also put something out on his social media this week as well to say he was going to be there, and he was very excited. It was glorious, and it was marvellous, and it's going to be brilliant and wonderful and all that crap. To say he was going. But Ian, you found out that it doesn't appear to be popular, didn't you?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, if you believed his hype as he clearly does, then it would be an absolute sellout, wouldn't it? And it's not quite, is it? To say there's 5 days to go. It's
empty.
Not really. Yeah. All the red ones there are available still. So yeah, I'd say what's that? A third?
At £39.50 as well for a standard seating.
Yeah,
so
that's quite pricey. Yeah,
it's not a full house yet.
If you've got the choice of a seat and you want to go and listen to that moron, I'm using that word a lot tonight, but he is. If you wanted to go and listen to him, you would, if you were really that desperate, you'd choose row H, wouldn't you? Or you'd have that spare one in row G. Why would you choose row P or O or N or M? I think those rows are probably sealed off. You know, I don't see why you would choose to sit in all of those rows and the middle ones are still vacant. I think they're probably not even using those, in which case it's even less of a sellout.
Is anyone in the chat going to these? Going to this? If you are, please let me know. You can get in touch at the usual address, or you can tell me in the chat, but I might miss it. But you can get in touch with me at whosviews1@gmail.com, because if you are going to this, come and do a visitations with us. Come and chat to me about what it was like and what he was going on about, okay? Because I don't know anybody who goes to see him. So if you're going to this at the Sherman Theatre this week to see RTD, and you would like to tell me all about it, get in touch and come and do a visitations. We'll sort a time out because I'd like to know what he's talking about. Okay. What have we got here? Pete Harrington saying, ooh, you could get a lovely Blu-ray for that price. Matt Enspiel saying to us, is anyone going? Why? St. John is saying, no, I'm not going unless I can fling rotten vegetables at us. Now.
What a great idea.
But we're saying, guys, those rows at the back will be reserved for the Doctor Who magazine writers at our. Lex, William Shatner is worth seeing. RTD is not. You're right. You're absolutely
Yep.
right. Legion of
Is
James.
Bedweir going? Is Bedweir going? And if so, has he bought 3 seats? I need to know.
don't think Bedweir will be going to that. I think he's got better things to do, quite frankly. Pete Ferreira is saying to us, if I want to increase my panic disorder, I will attend the event. Pete Harrington is saying, I planned on going, but my knees hurt. Very good. Very good. We've got you're very good. You guys. Mark A. Wright is saying those back seats are clearly blocked out and not for sale. Yeah. Hello to Kieran Coel. Oh, Coel Hill. I can't say it, but Kieran, hello. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Chatting away there. Terrified Monk is saying, I'm sure all he will say is that it was brilliant. And hello to, this is Andrew Swanee. Hi, Andrew, how are you? Do you think that they could do an animated Doctor Who with different writers, animators taking whatever incarnation and write a never-seen adventure? Do you think they could do an animated Doctor Who? Whom for?
They're doing the one for the 3-year-olds, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're doing the one for the threes and
Whether
under.
the 3 years want it or not. Yeah.
It's a good question, Andrew. But what I would think about that is, firstly, it would cost, because the animation would have to be bloody good to get the likes of me buying a cartoon. And secondly, it would again come down to who's overall producer, who's looking at it all, who's the production team, because I don't think they would be able to help themselves. I think they would focus on the modern versions of the Doctor more than the original Doctors. And I think it would all be DEI obsessed, because it's still the BBC.
Or you might get another bloody sound-alike Doctor like David Bradley playing Wayne Hartnell, that kind of thing again, you know.
And yet, who's going to buy it? Who would buy it?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I mean, the whole thing about this is, you know, they can't rely now, Andrew, chat, they can't rely on fans anymore to buy the crap they churn out, because we just don't want to know. We don't want to know. We were told to go away, and we have done. So what they're trying to do is, as very obviously looking at with Circuit Breaker, is they're trying to entice that mythical new audience they wanted, the minority fan base there, by saying, oh, look, we've got the other female Doctor for you. And we produced this entire series, and it's going to cost you nearly £300 to buy into it. It's not enough. It's not enough. So I think they've shot themselves in the foot when it comes to things like that. So I would just say, why? I would tell them, don't bother. You've got to reset the series to make it popular again before you can start milking its past. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, the past is Doctor's future, as you said, or what to that effect, Ian. It really is, because the Blu-rays, the classic Who, is what we all want. We don't want any of this new crap at all, you know.
No. We know full well that when Doctor Who gets to its 80th anniversary, and it will, when it gets to its 80th anniversary in 2043, we know full well that people will be, whatever new format is out 20 years hence or 17 years hence, and there probably will be a new format that's out by then, you know, the speed that technology is going at, you know, and everything's flogged all over again, and we've got films fabulous have done us proud, and there's no missing episodes and all that kind of thing, which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? We'll all still be talking about the classic series. We will not be talking about, do you remember when Gatwa's Doctor did this, or when Whittaker's Doctor did that? And to be quite honest, probably Tennant, Eccleston, and all the others as well. Capaldi's sadly will fall by the wayside because the scripts were so monumentally shit. He was great, the scripts weren't. We'll be talking classic, we won't be talking new Who.
Well, as I've said before, the problem with all of modern Who is it's set in the day it was produced. So 2005 is 2005, 2006 is 2006, 2007 is 2007. It's dated. It's out of date. Yeah. A lot of the things you don't like to look at now, because a lot of it is problematic because of modern day stuff in the show. Also, it doesn't tell a story. You've got one 45-minute episode, bang, 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 and then they move on to another 45-minute episode. Doesn't work. The original Doctor Who of 26 years of superior time travel telly will survive forever because it tells stories. And I don't care how people argue to me, oh, but humans are going to evolve this way. Human beings will always like a story, because that's what makes you human.
Do you remember though? They did that once in the classic series. Correct me if it was more than that, but they did that obviously glaringly once in the classic series where they dated it specifically. You know, they went through the whole of Unit and everything, but City of Death. But the way that they did it, Romana said, "What year is this?" And the doctor says, "It's 1979 actually." And it was 79, and it was filmed in 79, and it was shown in 79, but it was worded in such a way that they'd time traveled to 1979, which is why even now you understand why it works, because they're time travelers. And she said, "What year is this?" Because he's brought her to 1979. And it just works perfectly. Whereas, like you said, JT, the new series, doesn't.
But that City of Death and the original series had City of Death, especially as it's your example there, had the excuse that he didn't take her to 79. He had the randomizer, so it was a mistake. It was an utter mistake. Whereas the modern Doctors know exactly where they're going because they can pilot the TARDIS, which is another element of Doctor Who that needs to be, reinvigorated. You need to take it back to the guy from Gallifrey who can't pilot his TARDIS. That's one of the whole magical things about it. Anyway, what made me laugh this week, of course, is RTD and his tiptoe made it into the pages of Empire magazine, everybody. Can you ever just imagine? Empire magazine. They covered it. Yes, okay, it's just a little side panel here, but they still covered it. And they actually said, Tiptoe, RTD's new thriller series, is about the divisions in society. We've been through it all before, but they were bigging it up. And I just thought, oh, he must be thrilled. He's got into Empire. It's not a film. I thought Empire magazine was all about films. But obviously they're spinning off now because the films are crap because they've been destroyed by all this nonsense. So now they're looking at it all. I don't know. Tiring, isn't it, everybody? But it's on the way. I will be asking Bedweer very nicely if he would be able to keep an eye on the ratings for it. And then we won't do the ratings analysis because we don't care. But I want to see what the ratings are like in that series as an indication, because it would be an indication. Has that name, Russell T. Davies, does it now only mean something, boys and girls, in the industry? Because I think it does, because who the hell in the public, in the real world, knows who the hell he is? That time is gone. It's gone. I'll tell you what else is going. It's fandom. It's going down the toilet quicker than you can ever imagine, even still to this very day, as we were talking about earlier on. And I want you to have a look at this article from today's Telegraph from Gareth Roberts. Social media superfans are ruining television. Once great shows such as Doctor Who and Star Trek are spoilt by TV execs who ignore rank and file viewers. So let's have a look at this together because it's very interesting. And I'll come into the chat and see what you and Ian and Paul think about it. Let's get one thing straight. Television is a cruel and capricious mistress. I nearly said mistress. Some shows arrive, click their fingers, and suddenly half the internet is writing fan fiction. Others potter in and trundle along perfectly pleasantly, watched by many more millions, then vanish like dandelion clocks into the cultural void. Why, for example, is there a roaring fandom for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but not Crime Traveller? Why was there a rabid army for Big Brother, but barely a shrug for The Circle? I'm not talking here about the obvious chasm between classics and turkeys, or even the difference between a beloved hit and something so dire that it achieves so bad it's good legendary status, such as Bone Kickers, which was archaeologists fighting evil with trowels, or The Way, which is the Welsh are ethnically cleansed. And yes, that really did go out just 2 years ago. I'm talking about the peculiar gulf between shows that people like, perfectly agreeable, pass the time fare, and those they adore, which burrow into the soul and demand that you tattoo their logo on your forearm. This is the fandom gap, and it's maddeningly inconsistent. The Pareto principle, which I've never heard of, by the way, is that cheery observation that 80% of anything and everything is ordinary and 20% is exceptional. It works beautifully for wealth, talent, and why one's sock drawer is always in chaos. Apply it to TV, though, and you start to sound like a despairing producer signing off on disappointing final edits and muttering, well, we can only really expect 2 or 3 decent episodes per series. Words that I'm ashamed to say emerged from my own lips, at which point I knew I had to get out. Creative endeavors are supposed to be magical, not auctorial tables. It can be a shock when you encounter the few rabid fans of shows that don't have big rabid fandoms. During my stint on Emmerdale, I was charged with guiding some wide-eyed competition winners around the interior studio sets. One of them practically swooned at the sight of the wool pack. Emmerdale, he breathed, transported into the heights of poetic rhapsody. The very word makes the heart beat faster. In my dad's civil service office back in the day, two otherwise sane women were obsessed, and I mean obsessed, with, of all things, the chalk and cheese cop show Dempsey and Makepeace. After some light teasing, they developed an entire coded language to discuss it. Nobody was fooled. Gareth continues. It's what's flipped the switch from, yeah, it's all right, I'll watch it when it's on, to, I have named my firstborn after the second assistant director. Sci-fi and fantasy have an unfair advantage here. Star Trek and Doctor Who detonate your neurons weekly because the universe itself is the star. Every episode demands that you learn new rules with new planets and new aliens. The backdrop isn't just real life with added murder, it's an entire invented reality that requires expenditure of brain calories. Game of Thrones and Pluribus similarly operate like elaborate games with their own dense rulebooks. Succession, for all its savage brilliance, is basically posh people being awful in rooms that we recognize. There's no extra game layer, so its viewers don't get inspired in the same way. This difference in itself is, however, a good example of televisual chacun à son goût, many the genre fluency required by sci-fi to be unbearable. The danger, of course, comes when the fandom tail starts wagging the creative dog. The recent crashes of new iterations of both Doctor Who and Star Trek come in large part from forgetting the mass audience. I was working on the soaps just as the internet forums were slithering into existence. Suddenly, I found actors were in tears and writers were traumatized over message board outrage. I had to keep reminding everyone, and myself, that this is a tiny, screechy sliver of the audience. It's even harder when your highly engaged fandom is very positive, as their siren voices can lead you straight onto the rocks. Catering to the tiny percentage of people who will always watch your show, even if it's just to hate it, is getting everything backwards. Social media has only made this worse. One viral thread from 47 people who've watched everything you've ever made on 1.5 times speed can convince executives they've got a phenomenon on their hands. Meanwhile, actual normal viewers are happily eating their tea and quite enjoying the show without needing to declare it their entire personality. There's a big difference between mass appeal and cult success. Death in Paradise is the ultimate comfort blanket. It's watched by millions who enjoy it, but don't fetishize it. Midsummer Murders doesn't exactly set the socials on fire. Much less watched shows get more attention because the right kind of people, younger, louder, and more connected in every sense of that word, are engaging. Some shows are talked about far more than they're actually watched. And that can lead to commissioners and execs carrying a strangely skew-whiff model of how many people are actually watching a prestige show and what makes it a success. Gareth continues with this. The execs can start to drift dangerously away from good judgment. The funniest example of this phenomenon was Sony's re-release of its superhero bomb, Morbius, when they were convinced it was a sleeper cult hit. In fact, the meme culture around Morbius was highly ironic, and it duly bombed again. Many of this century's biggest TV hits started life as nervous gambles. I was at the BBC when The Office first appeared on their slate, and it was greeted by the Beeb with the sort of enthusiasm normally reserved for a surprise Ofcom investigation. Not sure why we made this, seemed to be the vibe about this oddity starring refugees from recent flop, the 11 o'clock show. Benidorm and Mrs. Brown's Boys were similar outsiders. Sherlock was slipped out in the summer with little promotion after its pilot was reshot by executive order. The success of Mr. Bates versus the Post Office took ITV hugely by surprise. These were all shows that hit big with viewers, but what were lined up by execs as so what filler. Passive enjoyment is the quiet backbone of television. Not everything needs to trigger a Reddit meltdown or a convention. Sometimes a solid Wednesday night procedural is exactly what hits the spot. Some shows just need to be watched, enjoyed, and quietly forgotten by Thursday morning. Thoughts?
Well,
He's a
I
good
agree with
writer,
the fact.
isn't
Okay, carry on.
No, I was just saying he's a good writer, isn't he? Always hits the nail squarely on the head.
Yeah, he's right, of course. I mean, already from the article, you can see what we've said already about what happened to current Doctor Who. that was a huge failure because it was a niche audience. Regardless of fandom being involved, there was no mass appeal for the general public. And that article says it all, really, to be honest.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, I was very impressed with that article because there was also elements that because he knows what's going on in fandom. He's distanced himself from it quite rightly, but he's not stupid. You know, he will be seeing things, he'll be hearing things, he'll be developing. And because of his experience in television, he's been able to say, well, look at all these beautiful things that come along. Because they haven't looked at agendas or they haven't looked at a target audience. And I think and I might be wrong, Gareth, by the way, and I might be doing an injustice, but the way I read some of this is he is getting at things like Doctor Who and Star Trek. He is getting at all these executives in television now that are so desperate to find that audience that will talk about them on the internet and all this sort of stuff. But he's quite right to say it's a bad thing. I mean, look at us. We're not going to help Doctor Who in the future unless it suits us.
Yeah.
After what we've been through. Do you know? And that's a sad state of affairs. But if something like Mr. Bates versus the Post Office came on, I'd rave about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we did because it was fabulous, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. It was absolutely superb. Matthew Pound, hello, Matthew. I preferred Doctor Who before RTD went after the mass audience. That's touched on in this article, isn't it? You're absolutely right there. There's too much of it, though. I mean, we've just seen Hollywood being majorly burned over years. Could they now actually be, or some of them be waking up to the fact that, hang on a minute, we've got this wrong? Because there seems to be course corrections all over the place, therefore causing a lot of confusion and pushing out a lot of stuff that, quite frankly, who wants to see it?
Yeah. But it's taken a long time to realise, isn't it? And it's really stupid. There's no business plan, really. Business plans to get bums on seats. That should be any form of entertainment. You want an audience, not a non-audience. You know what I mean? You want people to watch.
Yeah, you're right. Dystopian Nightmare. Gosh, this Gareth Roberts bloke's writing is good. Perhaps they should get him in to do some scripts on Doctor Who.
That's an idea.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
You would have to get rid of certain people, though, wouldn't you? I personally don't think Gareth would go anywhere near it now, but I would love to see him doing it because he knows what Doctor Who is.
Yeah.
You know, and for those of us that remember his novels in the NAs and the MAs, oh God, just superb stuff. Superb stuff. Thanks, Dystopian. Jess Corbyn, the mass audience. Ah, yes, the ones they make money from who pay the wages of those who seldom deliver. What were they originally paid for? The mythical mass audience, eh? Maze 4 saying to us, woke stuff doesn't work. We all know that.
Yeah.
But don't forget, we're the ones that need to be preached to because we're the wrong ones.
Yes.
Lenny is saying to us, guys, I'd rather watch paint dry.
I just missed the point of what entertainment's about. A movie or a TV show has to be entertaining, regardless of any message. It has to be entertaining, and that was part of the problem. It wasn't entertaining; it was just crap.
Yeah, there was no. I mean, again, I've forgotten those episodes of Shooting Out with Doctor Who because they were just so dull, boring, unadventurous, lecturous.
Yeah,
it's terrible, awful television. The Reality Kitchen Sink, awful show. Worst piece of television I've seen in my life. So many great channels to find with. Okay, old shows, but well written, acted, and entertaining. They are just waiting for you to find them with a couple of buttons away, says Pete Harrington. You're right, and I have found them as well. Pete, as I've said on the channel many times, I am now discovering shows that were around in the 90s when I was too busy having a life and couldn't bother with television. And, you know, I look at the television from the 90s, and it's far more preferable than some of the crap that the majority of the crap they're rolling out now.
Yeah.
Which Philip Siegel, when he joined us on Wednesday, he touched on this now, the whole streaming thing, didn't he? And how things are, money is thrown at stuff, at streaming stuff now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, it's all changed, and it's all about, I don't know, finding that. Or I mean, look at Star Trek Starfleet Academy. They desperately went after the same sort of audience that Doctor Who went, without looking at the fact that Doctor Who had failed and that audience wasn't there. So he just doubled down and did it anyway, the idiot. And I'm talking about Kurtzman there, of course.
Yeah.
But he's like an RTD, isn't he? He thinks everything he says is correct. He's right about everything. He's one of those, allegedly, I think, narcissists that will not be questioned.
Well, we know that because we've proved it on the show, in one of our shows, haven't we? We know that. You know, who's going to stop him, he said. Bill Oddie's love child saying to us, Gareth has hit the nail on the head again. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's very good at observing things, isn't he? And then he writes about it. That's good.
JT, can I just say huge apologies? We missed quite a while back. We missed a super chat for Marie UK. Somebody gave me a who knows 63 gave me a nudge in the chat, so thank you for that. I found it. If you want me to read it out,
yeah, go ahead.
It was when we were talking about bringing things back and everything else. So Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. Really sorry. Marie says, you get nostalgia from things that you like, not Tenant. Quite right too.
I can't. I have difficulty, Marie, with his episodes because I have lost, or I am losing the ability to separate the reality from the fiction, and I can't look at him and even those stupid adverts he's doing now.
The desperation adverts, yeah.
All I see is David Tennant.
Yeah.
And so it gets switched off immediately.
I think there's another Marie one as well, so I'm looking for that, JT.
Okay.
PB just reminded me there's two.
Okay, I'll have a look for them in a sec, see if they come up. St. John is saying to us, Hollywood is full of unnecessary remakes or reboots.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just shocking what's going there. And Gray is saying, didn't Gareth write The Plotters? I love that book. He did. He absolutely did. Yeah, it's and it's a great one, isn't it? Let's have a look what we've got here then. Hang on a sec. Marie's saying to us there, the BBC is clearly committed to self-destruct mode. I wish they'd get on with it. I'm going to come to that in a second, Marie, because I want to know what you think about the next thing I've got for you. We've got the nostalgia one there from Marie as well, so thank you for that one, darling. And I think that's it. I think we're up to date with those now, don't we?
I think we are.
I think we're up to date with them. Thank you very much for your super chats. It takes them a while to cut through onto this when there's so many people in the chat, but that's fine. But no, love it. Yes, so there we go. That's Gareth once again today, coming out with another piece. And I think he's highlighting the problem there with what's going on with the industry, isn't he? You know, the fact that they're so out of touch. And my fear is, guys, that what Gareth is highlighting in his article is going to be staying around for quite some time because of just how a whole generation has been reared to be thick. And all they want to do is talk about their feelings and how they identify. And then the rest of us there now don't care. All we want is stories. We don't want labels because we got rid of them.
Yeah.
And they've brought back, you know, and I think it's very, very sad that we're in this situation now where segregation is rife. Absolutely.
I think it's worthwhile as well because, you know, Gareth always does get it, doesn't he? There's not much that he misses, to be quite honest. I think it's worthwhile, JT, if you don't mind, just referencing that chit chat you did with Gareth and recommending for those that haven't seen it, go back, find it and watch it. Because it's really, really good.
Yeah, he's always great to talk to. That you can find it in the headlines playlist, everybody. It's a couple of years ago now, actually around about 23, 24, we did that with Gareth. But it's a good chat. It's a great chat. We were talking about various things.
He just brought his book out, hadn't he?
Yes, he had, which is now available in paperback. Yeah, he's got several things out now, which is great. But I want to move on to a story that can tie in with that, if I think. You probably won't know this gentleman, but this, everybody, is Wayne Garvey, who's the president of Sony Pictures Television. Now, I'm keeping an eye on Sony Television and Pictures, not in a bizarre sort of way, just simply because there have been lots of rumors going on for the last few months about how Sony could possibly be getting involved with Doctor Who. There are other players I'm looking at as well, just to see what they say. If they do say anything, what comes out about it. And what came out about this gentleman this week was very interesting. It was reported in Deadline when Sony president Wayne Garvey says BBC and Channel 4 must join forces to avoid becoming has-beens. Has-beens.
Too late.
Horse has bolted, hasn't it?
It's too late. Let's have a look at this and see what we all think about it. We've got here, Sony Pictures Television's president has made an impassioned plea to the new leaders, excuse me, of BBC and Channel 4 to form an alliance that would reshape the United Kingdom's television industry. Wayne Garvey, the outspoken British executive who oversees a content content empire that includes the Crown and industry, argued that Channel 4 should become the de facto commercial arm of the BBC to help the two organisations compete with the likes of YouTube and TikTok. He appealed to Matt Britton, the incoming Director General of the BBC, and the new Channel 4 CEO Priya Dogra to seize the moment of fresh leadership and confront the crisis of fragmented viewing and cratering ad sales that could make British broadcasters a weak field of has-beens. They come with none of the public service baggage that's held other people back. They need to come together and work out a shared solution to the problems, Garvey told the Creative Cities Convention in Liverpool. There is a world in which they can come together and retain a different, independent Channel 4, with Channel 4, the de facto commercial arm of the BBC, running the commercial channels and BBC studios. That way, we can realign our public service broadcasting and protect it for the future. He continued, I generally think that there is a crisis here and we can spend a lot of time thinking about it, but you need to get on and do it because the world is changing so quickly and the normal speed of change within British broadcasting is so slow that the game could be over. Garvey stressed that it would be important to keep a separate identity for Channel 4, but said change was unavoidable. You've got two leaders who have got to think differently and they've got to act quickly, the Sony chief added. Garvey's vision could be dead on arrival, however. Speaking from the same Creative Cities stage on Wednesday, the Channel 4 boss Dogra poured cold water on the idea of a merger with the BBC. She said it would result in Channel 4 being absorbed by the BBC, leading to the loss of its editorial voice. That would be a loss to society and a real loss for the creative economy, she said. Dogra did say she was open to collaboration, though she was not clear on what this would entail. The mooted merger has been a source of industry speculation for years. The British government has fanned the flames of this conversation, tasking the UK's Competition and Markets Authority and regulator Ofcom to review how consolidation could change the industry. During his wake-up address at Creative Cities, Garvey also reflected on the growing creator economy and its impact on traditional television. The cottage industry, that is digital content creation, is transforming the industrial process of television. And if you do not understand that and try to adapt to it and interact with it, you are living with delusion, he said. He referenced Sony's partnership with Tommy Innit on digital series 100 Questions with Tom Simons, a Minecraft enthusiast. Simons has 50 million followers and 3 billion views, with Garvey noting that 100 Questions has generated 33 million views in less than a month. Now, I automatically read this and thought, BBC, Channel 4, it's basically the same thing, isn't it? It's BBC is funded by the public. Channel 4 is part funded by the public. Have you seen the Channel 4 output? It's disgusting. It's lazy, scraping the bottom of the barrel crap. And the viewing figures are not very healthy. It's disgusting. And then she's coming along here saying, oh, but if we do this, we're going to lose something. I don't think we're going to lose anything because the BBC are doing just as much reality nonsense on their channel. Why not? I mean, I was all for, I don't know about you guys, but I was all for privatizing Channel 4 because I thought the quality of the programming might go up. Naked shows, kissy crap, you know, who's sleeping with her, all this nonsense on Channel 4. No, that's not quality. It's cheap tack. So I don't know what you guys think about this. Would a merger actually be good for the BBC and Channel 4 if they came up with some new brilliant look of this thing? And would it also benefit Doctor Who?
Well, if they were going to really actually do something about it, not just merge together and do the exact same crap they've been doing all the time, which is more likely to happen, rather than make any changes. What's interesting about the article is about the BBC losing its voice. I'd be happy for the BBC to lose its voice. I think they've kind of lost it already because they don't really produce stuff that's, well, particularly the news, for example. They're not kind of telling the truth, allegedly, about some of the, or giving both sides of the story on news programs and stuff like that. So I can't really see them, if they join together, making any difference to what they produce. It'll be just an amalgamation of both channels doing the same rubbish that you normally do, I'd imagine.
Okay.
I'd say create a BBC 5, put everything on Channel 4 across onto BBC 5, so it's a single organisation, and then take the TV licence away and make it go subscription, and it will either live or die on its merits, but the public won't be saddled with it.
Do you think they would need to create a BBC Five, or could they just hijack BBC Three because it's already there? Because look at the crap it's
Oh,
already
yeah,
there.
yeah, you could do that. You could do that. I just said 5 because I just left the existing 1, 2, 3, and 4 as they were. But yeah, you could take a BBC channel, put Channel 4 across to it, and then just make it subscription only. And if it's what people want, they'll pay for it, won't they? And they'll watch it, and everything will be hunky dory because they're paying for it anyway, whether you watch it or not, just like the license fee. And of course, if they don't want to watch it, it'll die, which it probably deserves.
Well, if they put it on BBC Three, it'll definitely die.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So-
Although they are, as we say, they keep commissioning things for their things that fail are always commissioned for a second series.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't they? I mean, we're hearing about it all the time.
Smoggy Queens again. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. And something else the other day was
Yeah.
I noticed, which was ridiculous, had been commissioned for a second series. I can't remember what it was now, but again, it just wasn't one of the big hitters with a minority audience. Oh, we get a second series. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, Channel 4 was so exciting once. Says Pete Harrington. He's right on the thing that, you know, why is the British industry, why is British television so behind the times? They never saw streaming coming, and yet I think the American market, from what Philip Siegel suggested the other day, did.
Yeah.
You know, and okay, they may, whether or not they've reacted to it in the correct way is a discussion and a matter of opinion, but we're still stuck in this ridiculous antiquated system of you have to pay the BBC to watch any live television from any of the channels, otherwise you are threatened with arrest. I just don't understand how they can get away with that in this day and age, and why is everything so slow? Why are things not changed to suit this digital age they're always going on about, and they're really banging the drum about it?
This country's always contradictory, though, isn't it? I mean, if you go back to the 50s and 60s, we had the best aircraft industry in the world. We were producing some incredible aircraft, and the government then, Labour, strangely, came in and cancelled stuff like that, and we bought American, and the aircraft industry was never the same again. We did the same with rockets. We had our own rocket program, and I believe there's a satellite still whizzing around, doesn't work, but still whizzing around from that age. The rockets were called the Blue Streak. They were featured in a Doctor Who annual once about the Blue Streak rockets. They were shit canned by the government because, let the Americans do it, or the Russians, or whatever. And we never, ever, ever seem to see the benefit in anything. And this is a very authoritarian country, really. We're obviously the most surveilled with cameras and everything else. But where else, if you watch television, can you be threatened to be put in prison? I mean, bloody hell. I mean, where else? Yeah, it's incredulous. If somebody was telling you and you knew nothing before, if you were an alien and you came here, and I don't know, but if you watch telly in that country and you don't buy a license, you'll go to jail.
I mean, it's not even an alien. You cannot. People outside the UK don't understand our system because it doesn't make any sense at all. But I find any proposition like this to be hugely of interest, because I just think, what if that was to happen? And when you look at the output of Channel 4, it's shockingly bad. So why is it there? I don't understand. We have reared kids on reality television, which isn't reality because it's all scripted.
Yeah.
I worked on the first series of Big Brother back in the day, around about 2000. That was reality television because none of it was scripted, and it was incredibly dull. But since then, what they've done is they've moved it on to the fact is you've got to do this cue and you've got to have that cue, and somebody there's got to be bitching with this, and they've turned it into real life Dynasty. A lot of the sort of stuff. Why? And yet I've got a friend that bangs on all the time about wives of somewhere or other. And all these people, this generation are looking at these people in these shows as celebrities. And I'll go, who? No, that's not a celebrity, though. No. Do you
remember when Channel 4 did Comic Strip Presents?
There's a lot of people in the chat talking about that. It was good stuff. As Paul's saying to us here, Channel 4 used to produce some interesting experimental shows such as Ultraviolet. Not so much these days. Who knows, is saying Channel 4 would be absorbed by the BBC's DEI policies that have all but destroyed BBC TV. The problem is, Eddie, is that Channel 4's DEI policies are worse. They are worse. A friend of mine left Channel 4 because he couldn't hack it anymore, because it was all over the shop. I haven't watched Channel 4 for ages, says you, Robert Payne, because there's nothing worth watching. And Coquelin is saying, haven't watched Channel 4 for very many years. They used to make great comedies.
And Ultraviolet was superb.
Ultraviolet was.
They made great films as well. Channel 4 films originally too were great.
A lot of the stuff we have to remember, though, is independent and only broadcast on Channel 4, which is exactly what the BBC now does. So why have we got two versions of the same thing? I think merging them should be considered. As it's probably already too late, because this was said this week in Liverpool at this conference. It's probably all moved on again now, because the industry's changing so much. The public are dictating to an extent what we don't like and what we do like, and how viewing habits are changing. And they rely too much on that, because I still think, guys, and correct me again if I'm wrong, I think if they got terrestrial television correct in Britain, people would still watch it, because we still see the odd hit.
Yeah.
You know, and people go to the terrestrial channels at Christmas in Britain, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a very interesting topic.
And some of these hits do happen by accident, like I said in Gareth's article about, you know, some executives don't know what's good until it gets reaction from the public. And it's the public's important, not the Guardian or whatever rag reviews something, the critics. The public's reaction to it's really important, you know?
Yeah.
But again, hasn't it always been like that? I mean, God bless him, and thank you for what he did in getting it there in the first place. But look back at Sidney Newman. You know, he didn't want the Daleks, and yet there you go. You know, we probably wouldn't have got more than 15 episodes of Doctor Who in 1963, stopping probably just after Christmas in January if it hadn't been for the Daleks and he'd had it done his way. It wouldn't have worked.
Kev Gresham says both channels will go down the pan at the same time. So, yeah. I tried to get an internship in 2008 with Channel 4. They were lost even back then, says P. Ferreira. Yes, I bet they were. I bet they were. I bet they didn't know how to deal with somebody of the likes of yourself, because you weren't hitting possibly the tip boxes that were coming in at that point. Yes. Channel 4 could take over BBC 3, says Funky. And Solorian Skies is saying, says, when Channel 4 News mentioned Trump, they usually preceded with convicted. Oh, they do not, do they? That's ITN for Channel 4. So that's another company involved in Channel 4. ITN News is another company, Independent Television News, because they also do ITV. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Lots of you talking about this in the chat. Your Robert Payne saying to us, I put everything on BBC 4 and BBC 2 to improve it and get rid of BBC 4. I'd get rid of Channel 4 and leave the market to pick up any shows worth keeping. Robert, that's a good point. I never understood what BBC 4's function was, because that's exactly what BBC 2 used to do.
Yeah.
It was the arty cultural channel to BBC 2, and then suddenly it's got a rival in its own ranks of BBC 4. So what's now on BBC 2?
Well, it's just an extension of BBC One, isn't it? Really, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah, really. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't look at them, do I? And Matthew Pounds is saying the original 4 channels used to have their own identity. Yes, and now they're so bogged down by nonsense and desperately looking for hits and stuff like that. They're all the same.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm thinking maybe streamlining it could be interesting for viewers. Gavin Graham saying to us, it's an idea, but Channel 4 executive types tend to believe their own publicity department announcements. That's a fair point. That is a very fair point. The license fee is up for renewal, says Funky. I know. Again, it's coming up again. Why? I want to know. Why? I think it's disgraceful. Yeah. I just thought it was an interesting article, that one. Thanks, Peace. Yeah, it's just an interesting article. It makes you think, doesn't it? And how could it affect Doctor Who? I don't think I don't think anything like that could affect Doctor Who, because Doctor Who is now owned by BBC Studios. They don't even know what they're doing with Doctor Who.
No.
Because Doctor Who is lost again. It's out there. It's lost. It's not being produced or looked after properly. It's just been churned out with no love or care. And I basically think BBC Studios, if they did it properly, they could put it on any channel these days.
I'm sure they could. Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't have to be the BBC, because it's produced by BBC Studios still. And
Imagine
in the state of streaming and everything, Paul.
Imagine having it with adverts, first time broadcast. That'd be interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah. Would it have adverts? I don't know.
if it's on Channel 4, maybe it'll make it to Channel 4 and BBC. Why not? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the
And they have
BBC,
to make that.
I think.
They have to make their money somewhere, don't they? If they're although the streaming, that's not the main source of income. The advertising would be part of that as well. You imagine? Yeah.
BBC 4 at the moment says Woodhouse 122 is just repeats apart from when they put on snooker and take Top of the Pops off on a Friday evening. Why am I not surprised, quite frankly?
Well, all the BBC channels are just effectively a bit like the cable channels, like that's entertainment and stuff. They just repeat things all the time, you know, and that's all it is, just mainly repeats.
So, Paul, good to see you. In Canada, TV, the CBC, is paid for by the government, but no license fee. Oh, God, really? And Steve Braddock saying Channel 4 is the absolute dregs of television. So at the moment, Doctor Who would fit right in. Yeah. I just think it might be...
CBC, sorry, Jetty. That thing with CBC in Canada, if the government pay it, the government obviously has no money of its own. A government only gets money through taxation. So in a sense, the people are paying for it, just not through a direct license. And that's what Labour's been talking about with the TV license, isn't it? Getting rid of the TV license and paying it through general taxation. So that way you don't get a choice whether or not you pay for the BBC, and that element of choice would be taken away from you. So you are still sort of like paying for it because that element of choice is gone.
It's interesting, but I just fear for where our alleged entertainment is right now and where it's going, because these people, I think, at the end of the day, will always look after their own jobs.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And they'll, any sort of change will go, we can't possibly have that because we're going to be made redundant, and no, we'll veto that. I think there's an element of that coming in from people as well.
Yeah.
You know, problem being is saying to us that BBC 4 is what BBC 1 should be. And hi, Matt the Silent. I'm not sure what you're saying about adverts there, but there we go. Yeah, so I just thought it was interesting, and just again, it's keeping an eye on what could be happening with the BBC, because we know that BBC is in trouble. It has to change somehow. It has to adapt to this modern world that we're in. There is a lot of resentment towards the BBC, as we all know, in the United Kingdom. There are a hell of a lot of people that have cancelled their license fees, which is why there's another increase coming up for those that have it. How many of them are going to be cancelling their license fee again? It's getting to be ridiculous how much people are paying. And what are they getting from the BBC?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting very dodgy news. Strictly Come Dancing, which I don't think is going to last now, personally. A very poor version of Doctor Who, which I don't think is going to last now. Nothing much from the BBC, which is...
The only other thing you get is contempt.
Yeah, because we know how they look at us.
Yep.
Who knows wants to say, if the BBC are that confident in their shows, why do they not go subscription only? That's because I don't think they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're running scared on that prospect, aren't they? Yeah.
If they believe all the woke bollocks that they peddle, then they should have absolute confidence that people will pay to see it.
And as PB is saying, the BBC license fee for a year works out more than a Netflix subscription. I cancelled that as well because I just thought it went to a little bit too... I can't be done with this. There was nothing on it that I was watching. I was actually thinking last night of cancelling this Amazon thing I've got, because I spent about 3 days trying to look for a film to watch. Ended up going to my Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I thought, why have I got this? Why am I spending however much, £8, whatever it is a month? Why am I? Why?
The
Why
only
bother
good thing about subscription streaming services is you can jump in and out of them, can't you? You can do a month or whatever for a trial, then leave that and go somewhere else, try for another month, and just try and find programs you like, kind of thing. You know?
There's an awful lot of crossover, though, isn't there? Because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can see
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of BBC's output now and all these other things from back in the day.
yeah.
It's something we're going to keep an eye on. Andrew Swaney is saying to us, being an American before streaming, I waited until Doctor Who was put on demand online because they sped up episodes to fit in commercials when it was on Sci-Fi. So annoying. BBC America was better. I bet it was. Yeah.
That's Crystal Meth's dream, isn't it? That speeding up the episodes.
Yeah.
That's
You're
almost as bad as you and Eden putting episodes on in the wrong order. That's really bad. Yeah.
But at least it's there. And
Yeah.
Robert Payne saying us, the BBC doesn't even have the national sport events now. I know it's sad, isn't it? Matthew Pound at £180 during the cost of living crisis is disgusting. Not to them, it isn't. Dirty Davros is also saying to us, TV execs always stick to the bowl no matter how many times you flush. And I am your servant. University and colleges have been nurturing hard left and Islamist LGBT plus politics for decades. The effect is showing a breakdown of what was good. It's sad but true. And the BBC and everybody like that has followed it all, haven't they, really? Because a lot of these people, I reckon, that have been to university are now working in the BBC and our public services with that mentality. Thinking that they're right. It's a sad state of affairs. And the problem being is saying to us here, it's all crap. TV streaming has killed TV shows, let's be honest. It certainly has. It certainly has. And yet people are making lots of money out of them, PB, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But as I keep saying, the BBC could very easily have its own streaming service because it's got the iPlayer.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
You'd pick up all those foreign people that are getting it for free, whilst the British people have to pay.
I know. Absolutely disgraceful. It's absolutely scandalous that you are not allowed to watch any live television if you don't pay the BBC license tax. I know people who pay license but never watch the BBC but want the other channels, says Legion of James. That's the awful thing about it. Where's the choice Ian was just talking about there? There isn't any. You will pay for live television even if it's on our channels or not. I don't agree with it. And Orem saying the BBC will be freaking out if Strictly dies now. The Wooden Charisma Vortex, Tess Daly is gone. They have so few genuine hits to justify their existence. Well, BBC Studios are in the last stages of recruiting the 2 new hosts for the show. But looking at things, there's a handful of shows I'm sure any of us could name that once the established presenter left was successful. Being the age I am, the only one that comes to mind right now live on the show is the Gen Game, which lasted from Bruce Forsyth, was a massive hit with Larry, then rested for a few years, came back with Bruce, and then it was handed to Jim and was still a massive success. I can't think of anything else that worked in that similar vein. And I do think they've got to get this 100% light with Strictly. Otherwise, it's gone within 2 years.
They should have cancelled Strictly after Brucey left, to be honest.
Oh, bless him. It was his show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was his show. Brucey made that show. God love him. What a talent. You'll never see the likes of him ever again, I'm afraid.
No.
Never again.
Anyway,
I wanted to put that out there, everybody, for you to talk about, because, of course, we are going to keep an eye on anything that's going on with the BBC, because it does need to adapt, as I'm sure we're all agreed on here. Something's got to happen with it. Doctor Who, of course, now produced by BBC Studios. Something's got to happen with that as well. God knows where they're going to go with it. It's May, everybody. They're very stum, aren't they? They're very quiet.
Aren't they?
Very quiet.
Do you think there's nothing to tell us?
I know there's nothing to us to tell us right now, isn't it? There's nothing to tell at all. They haven't even released how much it's going to cost them for this one-off episode.
More than just the budget. I can tell you that now. Yeah.
People keep telling me, Paul, they're waiting for an actor's availability.
All right. Okay.
Really? Really? What? You've got several scripts there for different actors, allegedly.
Yeah. But you're waiting for David Tennant, are you? Okay, fair enough.
or Piper to finish on whatever she's finished in. I don't know. I think it's all very dodgy, the whole thing and the whole industry. Robert is reminding us it's May and the fish thing still hasn't been shown on Disney. What's the reckoning that it's not going to be?
Yeah, I reckon that it's not going to be shown. Yeah, not at all. Yeah.
I've got that feeling as well. Woodhouse122 says the same thing. What's the reckoning it won't be? What's the reckoning they'll just forget it?
Shows how toxic
A
that
tax
relationship
write-off, that's what it's called, yeah. So,
Who's asking for it? Who's getting in touch with Disney saying that thing that they produced was just a spin-off from Doctor Who? Are you going to show it? Who's doing it? Who's asking for it? No one. No one. They probably all watched it via the iPlayer now for free.
yeah.
Anyway, so that's where we're up to at the moment, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the show for this evening. Thanks very much for joining Third Doctor Ian and Paul and myself for this chat this evening. Yes, don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're not new to the channel, please make sure that you are still subscribed, because all sorts of strange things go on this platform. I just want to give a big plug, of course, to our show that we did. There he is there. Philip Siegel joins us on Wednesdays, Who's Views, to launch our 8th Doctor series. And what a joy he was. And what some lovely insights he gave us as well into the show. We created a couple of headlines of our own there, I think, gentlemen, on that show.
Yes, we did.
I think we did, didn't we? I mean, it's, you still feel buzzing from it because it was better than I thought it could possibly be. And I thought it was going to be great, but it was better than that by absolute miles. And the stuff that he told us, his thoughts on a female doctor, I dared go there, which, but what he was telling us about the kiss and everything as well. If you didn't see the show and you haven't caught the show yet, go back and watch it, because that's straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. You can take it as absolute fact.
And that reminds me, we did get some lovely questions coming back to us saying, because it does come up that they had scripts ready to go for at least 6 episodes after the TV movie. They had the budget, it's all in the show, they had the budget and everything ready to go because they had that beautiful TARDIS console room set to go. And I've had some comments, guys, I've had some questions from people saying, what were the episodes? He didn't say what the episodes were. Well, he did actually, sort of. It's probably gone over everybody's head, but the scripts that were ready to go, he confirmed, were the remakes of The Tomb of the Cybermen, The Genesis of the Daleks, The Pyramids of Mars, all those things. They would have been the remakes to make up that first series of 6. So there you go. There you go. That's great. It's a great show. And again, to Mr. Siegel, thank you so much for joining us there. Just a joy, absolute joy. And what a lovely guy.
I had a message.
Absolute gentleman, yeah.
Absolutely. I had a message, JT, from Alan Mackelson, who'd created Custom Built. He'd watched the show. He was very chuffed that we'd reached out to him and asked him to share some photos of his incredible creations. You would be forgiven for thinking he'd just walked onto the 1996 set, taken some photos and said, look what I've just built. But he just thought it was a great show, and he was very grateful for being involved in it, which I thought was lovely.
Well,
that's really nice, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and thank him for letting us use his photographs, because we did use them, and it was, it's a good show. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. Please share it, give it a hype. The same as this show. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. It's great to see you as ever here on Headlines, your big show every Sunday night. Let's see what they've got in store for us for the next one, shall we? We will be back. Actually, Paul and I are going to be back tomorrow as part of our 8 at 30 series. We're going to be reviewing, as part of Merchandise Paradise, the latest Doctor Who magazine special, which is about the 8th Doctor. We're going to be looking at that and giving that a wee review. And then we're all back on Wednesday for our first audio review for the 8th Doctor, where we're going to be looking at the Sword of Orion. Okay.
Excellent.
The 8th Doctor's first encounter with the Cybermen. Let's see how that goes. As I said in the show here, you guys have asked for us to look at certain Big Finish audios. I resisted for so long, but we're going to do it. And if you like it and it's right, then we'll do some more. especially for the Paul McGann Doctor, because it's the only way we can keep him as part of the channel. So yeah, look forward to that. And then, of course, we're back with your big show next Sunday, live at 8. To Ian and Paul, as ever, thanks very much for joining me. Great conversation tonight, guys. Thank you so much. If you are going to be going out and ordering Circuit Breaker, you're mad. But I hope you enjoy every minute of it. From the three of us, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you still subscribe and give us a hype, give us a thumbs up, do all the stuff you know you've got to do. From the three of us, ta-ra, everybody. See you soon.
Good night, man. Bye-bye.